And as Boston goes for the sweep tonight, they'll have their ace this year, Tim Wakefield, on the mound with a record of 14-2. And he takes to the hill one night after Roger Clemens beat the California Angels last night, a game that featured a lot of fireworks.
It was a lot of fun, wasn't it? But when you talk about Wakefield being the #1 pitcher on their staff, that's different from Roger Clemens in the past. But I think it's great that he's going to follow Roger Clemens tonight, because Roger Clemens throwing 90 miles an hour. Now they're going to have to hit this 60-mile-an-hour flutter ball. But a lot of fireworks last night, and I expect him to carry over tonight.
Wakefield coming off his worst start as a member of the Red Sox on Friday night against the Seattle Mariners at the Kingdome. He lasted only 3 innings. As a hitter, how do you go up there approaching a knuckleball pitcher? I know there are a lot of different theories. What was your idea?
Well, there are a lot of different theories. I like the idea of moving closer to the pitcher, giving the ball less time to dance, and also moving closer to the plate, because he can't get inside on you. And that eliminates a lot of the movement on the ball if you can move towards him a little bit.
And Wakefield will be opposed tonight by Jim Abbott. The Red Sox and the Angels coming up in just a few minutes. Now let's join Carl Ravitch.
All right, Sean, thanks very much. And Tim Wakefield looking for his Major League winning 15th game. No other pitcher in the game has 15 wins. We're going to come back on Wednesday Night Baseball, get you caught up to date on all the games going on, and put the wild card into perspective. Stay here.
Tonight in Anaheim, California, Jose Canseco and the red-hot Boston Red Sox go for their 5th straight win as they face Jim Abbott and the California Angels. Hello, everyone. I'm Sean McDonough. It's great to have you with us as the Boston Red Sox go for a sweep of this 3-game series with the California Angels. They won Game 2 last night by a score of 6-4. Plenty of fireworks between these two teams last night. It began in the 2nd inning. The California Angels thought that Roger Clemens was throwing at Garrett Anderson. The pitch actually went behind him. In the 4th inning, Mike McFarland hit in the back of the head by a Mike Harkey pitch. He stayed in the game. Bottom of the inning, Tim Salmon hit by Roger Clemens after warning. No ejection there. Then Jose Canseco in the 5th. Brushed back, and 1 pitch later, he takes Harkey deep over the fence and left. He stood at the plate for several seconds before running, and Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire, had to go out and make sure that Harkey didn't chase after Canseco. I'm joined by Joe Morgan. It's a tough act to follow last night's game, Joe, but we seem to have the making of a rivalry here.
You're exactly right. And this is the 2nd incident this season, so we may be witnessing the first part of a big rivalry between 2 young teams that's going to be around for a long period of time. Competition breeds rivalries. So I think that they're going to be very competitive against each other. I think you're going to see a little carryover tonight.
2 teams with comfortable leads in their divisions. Tonight, the California Angels will have Jim Abbott on the mound. He's 3-2 since being traded back to California. He'll be opposed by the knuckleballer and Cy Young Award candidate Tim Wakefield at 14-2. The Boston Red Sox won 18 of their last 20 games. They've opened up a 14-game lead over New York now in the American League East as the Yankees lost this afternoon in Oakland. Baltimore running 3rd. The only hope for the Yankees and Orioles now, a wild card berth, it would appear. Tonight's starting lineup for the Red Sox has Willie McGee leading off and playing center field. John Valentin is the shortstop. Batting 3rd, the first baseman, Mo Vaughn. The cleanup hitters, the DH, Jose Canseco. Tim Naehring is batting 5th and playing 3rd base. Mike Greenwell, the left fielder, hits 6th. Batting 7th, the catcher, Mike McFarland. Chris James, a late addition to the starting lineup, is in right field, batting 8th. And batting 9th, the second baseman, Luis Alicea. Kevin Kennedy, we showed you at the top of the telecast candidates for various awards in the American League, and another category we could add to the list you saw, Manager of the Year. Kevin Kennedy and Marcel Laxman would certainly be at the top or near the top of anybody's ballot for that award. Angels just now taking the field, and on the mound tonight for California, Jim Abbott. 9-6 overall this year, and 3-2 since being traded back to the Angels in late July from the Chicago White Sox.
And this is kind of a new Jim Abbott this year, Sean, in that he now can get a pitch inside on left-handed hitters. He had problems with that before. He always had the cutter, and the slider to get in on right-handed hitters, but he always had problems getting inside on left-handed hitters. And he's done very well. He's given up a few more hits than innings pitched, but he has pitched very consistent baseball so far this season. And let's take a look at the defense that the Angels will put on the field tonight. And it's interesting because we all know that Gary DeSarcina has been out. He's out for the season, and Damon Easley has moved over to shortstop. This is his 13th start of the season. Rex Hudler will be at second base in his place. They also have Jose Chico Lean here, who will also give them a little boost down the stretch. They also signed Schofield at shortstop.
Damian Easley was a shortstop as a minor leaguer, but at the major league level had been primarily a second baseman and third baseman. There are rumors that the Angels are pursuing a trade. Jose Vizcaíno's name has been mentioned frequently here in Orange County. We mentioned that Chris James was a late addition to the starting lineup tonight for the Boston Red Sox. Originally, Lee Tinsley was to play center field and bat eighth, but our crew was alert during batting practice, and they caught Tinsley injuring his left rib cage. He left after that swing. The trainer, Jim Rowe, came over, tended to him for a moment. Tinsley actually went back in the cage and took one more swing and doubled over in pain again and left the field. Tinsley out with a strained left rib cage, and his status is day-to-day. But that's the kind of injury that can keep a hitter out for a while. Kevin Kennedy had it affect his team earlier this year when Mike Greenwell went on the disabled list with a similar injury. The umpires in the spotlight last night because of the tensions between these two teams, and they probably will be again tonight. Mark Johnson is the home plate umpire. Ted Barrett, a fill-in umpire at first base. Rocky Rowe at second. Tim McClellan at third. Davey Phillips, ordinarily the crew chief with this crew, and he was here last night, but Phillips has left to go to Seattle. The Mariners apparently have a day game tomorrow, and this crew will travel up there. They wanted to make sure at least one of the regular umpires made it there in case they have transportation trouble tomorrow. Rocky Rowe will be in charge tonight. First pitch of the night from Abbott, a strike to Willie McGee.
Looking out at the outfield and infield, they play Willie McGee pretty much straight away because Willie doesn't have a zone in which he hits. Depends on where the pitch is.
Sends that to the right. It took a big hop up on Hudler. He had time to recover and throw him out.
One great thing about playing second base, first base, and third base, you can knock it down and throw them out. Shortstop, you basically have to field the ball cleanly, or else you're going to lose the hitter.
One out, and John Valentin digs in, batting .284. Leads all major league shortstops in homers and runs batted in with 21 and 72 respectively. Abbott misses high.
That's a good story for Valentin in that he made himself into a home run hitter. He said he needed something to help make him a special player. He didn't have the speed to steal bases, so he made himself into a power hitter by lifting a little bit and then concentrating on trying to drive the ball a little bit more. And he's been very successful, obviously.
When he was at Seton Hall University, he was a number 9 hitter for most of his career, only weighed 150 pounds. And when he moved on to professional baseball, he didn't know if he should try to be a power hitter, be a slap hitter. And as you said, Joe, he thought he didn't run well enough to be the kind of guy who'd spray it around. He worked on the weights, and he watched every videotape ever made on hitting. And he said the tape that helped him most was one put out by the former Oriole and Astro Glenn Davis.
Interesting. You would think that maybe one that Ted Williams put out, or Stan Musial, or Willie Mays or something might be the one that would help him as a power hitter, but that's interesting.
The 3-1 to Valentin is a called strike. We were not able to ascertain if the umpires issued a warning to the managers during the exchange of lineup cards. Kevin Kennedy said before the game tonight he thought that they might. Down to third and booted by Phillips. Another ball that bounced up at the last moment, seemed to glance off Phillips' left arm, and Valentin is aboard with one out. Our information from the umpires room was that they were not planning to issue warnings. They felt that the episode ran its course last night.
You can see this about to happen. Phillips was off to the side, and watch the ball take that last hop. Phillips tries to get in front of it at the last second, but he can't do so, and it bounces off of him. The score is an error.
The Angels have not been faring all that well lately, just 5-5 over the last 10 games, and Marcel Latchman says the biggest problem is what you just saw. They haven't been as crisp in the field lately as they were earlier in the year when they were posting one of the best records in all of baseball. They still have that record, but they've been mediocre lately. Can't say that for the man at the plate, Mo Vaughn, at .294, 31 homers and 95 runs batted in, and another of the many candidates we're going to see tonight for the major awards in the American League. Abbott to first. Vaughn with his 31 homers, second in the American League behind Frank Thomas with 32, and he's trailing in the RBI race by 1. Jim Edmonds of the Angels is 96 and Vaughn 95. Fouled at home plate. Career high 31 homers for Mo.
When you talk about awards, my personal vote would go to Mo Vaughn simply because he has not had the people behind him that, say, Edmonds and Salmon and some of these guys have had. He has had to carry the Red Sox basically by himself, power-wise, the first part of the season. And he was always getting key hits. It's not so much about statistics. It's about getting key hits at the key times in the ball game and when your team needs them. I don't think anyone has done that better than Mo Vaughn this year.
Valentin runs. Fabregas with a good throw, but it was not squeezed by Easley.
And there's another example of that will not be scored as an error, but that play should have been made, and Valentin should have been out at second base. He doesn't have a real good jump. The throw is there, and watch, the throw beats him. All you need to do is catch it and tag him, and Easley takes his eyes off the ball, and then it glances off. Good backup there by Hudler.
Stolen base number 16 for Valentin. It's interesting, he did make the career decision that he was not going to be a slap it around the ballpark and steal bases player. He was going to be a power hitter. But in the year that he's had his best power year, he'll also posted a career high in stolen bases with the 16.
Well, you get a lot of confidence when you're hitting well. You play better in the field. You run the bases better, and obviously he's learned to steal bases a little better. So everything works off the batter's box for a lot of people.
The 2-1 to Vaughn. Fouled back to the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Valentin at second, no score in the top of the first.
Vaughn took a look at Valentin then because Valentin bluffed. He ran off the bag and stopped. See, that's a distraction for the hitter because he sees you behind the pitcher running, and Mo kind of looked at him and he pats his bat on the plate like he's not very happy with that because he looked like he had a pretty good pitch to hit, but he was distracted a little bit.
And he just did get a piece of that one to stay alive at 2-2. Abbott traded back to California by Chicago along with left-handed reliever Tim Fortuno in exchange for 3 prospects. And Abbott taking a long time getting the sign.
I talked about the fact that Abbott could now get inside on the left-handers, although he has not pitched Mo inside. And it's dangerous to pitch the big sluggers inside unless you're sure that you can get it in there.
Another 2-2 fouled back to the backstop.
But they finally moved inside and they tried to go inside on him there. It was going to be more of a cut fastball. They wanted to throw the ball at him and try to get Vaughn to bail a little bit and let it break over the plate. There you see good bounce back season here for Jim Abbott. 92 was his best season before this, and he's bouncing back after 2 off seasons for him. especially the one in New York.
That's right. It was all that darn charity work. George Steinbrenner felt he did too much work in the community. Vaughn gets it by the diving Hudler, and the Red Sox will take a 1-0 lead. Valentin around to score, and Vaughn is now tied with the Angels' Jim Edmonds for the RBI lead in the American League, each with 96.
Well, you have to give the Red Sox credit. They took advantage of an error by Tony Phillips. Now they score a run. Take a look at Mo Vaughn. This pitch is out over the plate. They tried to go inside the pitch before, thinking they had him set up for this down and away slider. He just goes down and gets it and lines it in the right center field for a base hit. And Valentin scores a run after stealing a base.
Valentin should have been out at first and second, but he's in with the first run of the ball game, and you could hear the boos for Jose Canseco. He was at the center of the disputes last night. Canseco's home run off Harkey, his 17th of the year. He now has 56 runs batted in 70 games. Joe mentioned for much of the year Vaughn was thriving without Canseco in the lineup behind him. He was out with a variety of injuries. Canseco, as hot as any hitter in baseball at the moment. He's riding a 13-game hitting streak, during which he's hit .463 with 6 homers and 15 runs batted in over those 13. He's raised his average 39 points during that time. Canseco actually called his home run last night after Harkey hit McFarland in the head, and some of the Red Sox were hollering out at Harkey from the dugout. Canseco was hollering that the next time he went up there, he was going to hit a home run and then stand there and watch it.
And he did
show
that.
up the pitcher, and he did.
And he did that. He stood there.
He was actually humorous about it afterwards. He said, I wasn't sure it was going to be fair or foul, when in fact it was maybe 50 feet to the right of the foul pole in left field, as you saw. And when he was asked about Harkey chasing after him, he said, oh no, he wasn't mad, he wasn't hollering at me, he just wanted to make sure I was touching all of the bases.
I don't think Harkey thought it was very humorous, but it was. Canseco did not like the first 2 strike calls, and he took a close pitch there from Abbott.
And it's still 1-2 on Jose. 1 out. Vaughn at first. 1-0 Boston. Red Sox looking for their 5th straight win. The Angels have seen their lead dwindle in recent days as the Texas Rangers have been hot. Canseco drives another to deep left field, way out of here. Well, Kevin Kennedy has said several times when Canseco gets hot, he can carry a ball club, and that's what he's been doing for the Red Sox lately. 14-game hitting streak now with 7 homers during the streak. The homer is 18th of the year. He's driven in 58 runs, and the Red Sox lead 3-0.
When I saw Canseco in Boston earlier in the year, he was hitting from a closed stance. Now he's back to that open stance and striding, and he looks much better as a hitter. And Canseco, of course, when he hits them, he knows where they're going. But he has changed his stance since the game I did in Boston a few weeks ago.
Naring hit it right at the second baseman Hudler for the second out of the inning. Well, we won't know till after the game if he called that one too.
I'll start calling him Babe Canseco.
That's right.
He calls all of his shots.
Well, the only thing that didn't happen last night was him pointing out the left field before he hit it. Greenwell checked his swing and took a strike. Mike's hitting .303. 9 homers, 54 runs batted in. He's working on a 7-game hitting streak. Hudler throws him out, and that ends the inning. The Red Sox get 3 in the first, and after a half inning they lead 3-0.
You know, the apartment itself is it's a small apartment. I'm not sitting here acting like it's a big apartment by any means. I remember I got a new phone, and a friend of mine saw it, and he said, "Oh, good. Now it's like a real phone booth." You know, it's a small apartment, and I pay way too much rent for it. But I like the view. Hey, umpire, I'm talking to you. I'm just practicing right now.
Mentioned a moment ago that the lead for the Angels has shrunk in the American League West with the hot play of the Texas Rangers of late. Texas won this afternoon, so they're 8 games out, a chance to go in 7.5 if the Angels lose tonight. Marcel has Tony Phillips leading off and playing third, Jim Edmonds in center, Tim Salmon in right, Chili Davis the DH and cleanup hitter, J.T. Snow at first, and Garrett Anderson in left field. Rex Hudler the second baseman, George Fabregas the catcher, and the shortstop Damian Easley bats 9th against Tim Wakefield. And Wakefield's ready to go. And that's no surprise. He only throws about 4 warm-up tosses between innings, and he works very quickly. His first pitch, a knuckleball that floats high to Phillips.
Be interesting to see if Wakefield throws a few more fastballs early in the ballgame with this lead, in case his knuckleball is dancing too much or not getting into the strike zone, as has happened here with Tony Phillips.
Phillips batting .284. Career high 20 homers and 52 runs batted in.
There's a fastball. But an excellent leadoff hitter is Tony Phillips. I mean, his on-base average over 400. Leads the league in runs scored. Very good player. He has been a very big addition to this Angels ball club. I mean, he's kind of the veteran that they needed. With all the young players, he and Chili Davis are kind of the veterans on this ball club. They've both been in winning situations before.
Even though Edmonds has the MVP type numbers, there are many who say Phillips really is their most valuable player. I mean, there aren't that many differences between the makeup of their team from last year when they were not a good team, and this year when they've been terrific all year. Phillips walks to open the inning. Red Sox with the worst defensive team in the American League. They've made 90 errors.
So, you know, I mean, this is a ball club that really the pitching is much better than it appears, because they've had to make up for a lot of errors, and they've only given up like 46 unearned runs the entire season, and that's on 90 errors. So they've done a good job, the pitching staff has.
And by contrast, the Toronto Blue Jays have made 25 fewer errors, but have actually given up more unearned runs than the Red Sox, in large part because their pitchers haven't dealt well when the errors have been made behind them. The Red Sox pitchers have. Edmonds looked at ball 1. Jim at .312, 29 homers, and 96 runs batted in. Now tied with Mo Vaughn for the league lead. And Ribbies after Mo's RBI in the top of the inning. Edmonds just got under that one a bit, and Chris James has it for the first out. That was the first swing of the night for the Angels. The other night, when Wakefield struggled with his control in the first inning in Seattle and walked 3, the Mariners took the first 18 pitches of the night before a batter swung. And I guess when you're a knuckleball pitcher, the great concern is, when is it going to get to the point where I can't control it again? Wakefield's already been through that once, as has been well chronicled.
Well, one of the points that you should make if you're a hitting instructor on the ball club, you should say, hey, make him throw strikes. Don't be afraid to take a pitch. But it's just the opposite. A lot of hitters do not want to get behind in the count when a pitcher has a trick pitch, whether that trick pitch is a fork ball or splitter or a great curveball. Hitters do not want to get behind in the count. See, Rod Carew didn't mind hitting with 2 strikes, but a lot of hitters do mind that, so they will not take a lot of pitches. And you see right away. You would think that you want to see one pitch just to see how that knuckleball dances, but Tim Salmon walks up there. He swings at the first pitch. And again, I think it's because most hitters do not want to hit from behind in the count.
And for most of the years, the graphic we showed you a moment ago demonstrated, Wakefield has had excellent controls. Astounding that he has had such good control of a pitch that he admits he has no idea where it's going when he throws it. Salmon slices one foul. 0-2.
And the other thing you can do as an offensive ball club is to run. You put a lot of pressure on the catcher, you put pressure on the defense, and you just have to do something. You have to force the action. You can't wait for a knuckleball pitcher to control or let him control the ball game.
McFarland had the lunge for it.
Well, the fans remember last night's knocked down and beanball situation. They thought that was one too, but I don't think you're going to find Wakefield involved in too many beanball incidents.
No.
Especially throwing the knuckleball with 2 strikes.
Phillips back to first. The Angels are not a good running team.
No.
They have 43 stolen bases. Only the Yankees have fewer in the American League.
And by contrast, you know, the Red Sox are a team that you don't normally think of as a speed team. They have 79.
And the crowd groans. Wakefield's knuckleball goes up there about 65 miles an hour, and when he throws the occasional fastball, it's generally 76, 77. The joke in the clubhouse before the game was if he tried to hit somebody, the Angel hitter might catch it and throw it back to him. Check swing. It's a strike, says Mark Johnson.
Well, I actually called it on the swing because that ball did dance out of the strike zone. Salmon swung at it and tried to bring it bat back. Watch, you'll see him. He'll take a swing at this pitch, and then he tries to stop it, but it's too late. See, that pitch is out of the strike zone, but you see he went too far. Pitch is up out of the strike zone, but he goes too far, and that's strike 3.
And no question it was a swing.
Yes.
Red Sox lead 3-0 in the first. Jose Canseco a 2-run homer in the top of the inning. And Chili Davis.
And it's interesting that he hits from the right side against Tim Salmon. Chili has always felt he had better bat control from the right side, but you know, normally you still hit from the left side against a right-handed pitcher.
Bobby Bonilla, when Wakefield faced the Orioles a little over a week ago, was also a switch hitter. Batted from the right side against Wakefield. He said when he faced Tom Candiotti and hit left-handed, it would mess up his left-handed swing for 4 or 5 days, and he didn't want to have that happen when he faced Wakefield.
That's smart, because that's one of the things that happens to you when a knuckleball pitcher throws. That's why ideally, in my opinion, you would rather have Clemens follow Wakefield than Wakefield follow Clemens in the order. But I mean, that's not the way the chips have fallen here, but they may fall that way in the playoffs. But a knuckleball pitcher can really mess up your swing and your timing, and he can hurt you for more than just that particular day. He can mess you up for 3 or 4 days, and that's what Bobby Bonilla was talking about. And I'm sure Chili Davis may have the same theory here.
He swung at a 3-0 and lobbed it down the right field line, and it's a foul ball.
Well, I'm sure that's not what Latchman had in mind when he let him swing 3-0. You do not want to hit a little pop up the other way. If you're going to swing 3-0 and you're one of the big guys, he wants you to try to do some damage with that 3-0 pitch. Well, you're sure that he's going to get a fastball 3-0. And he does get a fastball, and Chili's just a little late on it. But that could be because he's not used to hitting from the right side against a right-handed pitcher. You have more time to look at it on the knuckleball, but a fastball that can get on you pretty quickly if you're not used to hitting from that side. And I think that's what happened there.
3-1 missed. 2 walks in the inning issued by Wakefield. And now the tying run is at the plate for California. With 2 down in the bottom of the first, J.T. Snow, the 5th batter of the inning. He's another major reason why the Angels are much improved this year. He's had a bounce-back season. .297 his average, 16 homers, 79 runs batted in. He's 10th in the league in runs batted in.
And he has been over 300 most of the year. He just dropped down in this last stretch, but a couple of good days and he's right back above 300.
He's 3 for his last 22, in fact. And 0 for his last 15. And to break out of that now, the count goes to 2-0.
See, if you're a hitter in this situation, the count's 2-0. Why swing at a knuckleball? Look for the fastball. If he doesn't throw it, take a knuckleball. Take one.
He did throw the fastball.
That's what you can't take fastballs off of knuckleball pitches. You cannot let them get away with throwing you fastballs. 2-0, look for the fastball. If he throws you a knuckleball, so what? You're going to get one next pitch anyway. So try to find a pitch that you can handle. See, I mean, you cannot take the fastball off a knuckleball pitcher. And in theory, you still should be able to look for the fastball and hit the knuckleball. You can't look for the knuckleball and hit the fastball. Is the reverse. Look for the fastball and then handle the knuckleball.
A little pop-up that will drift out of play to the left.
Snow has batted against Wakefield 3 times, and he's 2 for 3 in those at bats. So maybe Wakefield is pitching him the opposite of the way he's pitched him in the past. But any team should make a knuckleball pitcher pay for throwing a fastball.
Another 2-2. Again sliced out of play to the left, and the Angels with their scouting report should know that Wakefield will throw the fastball when he falls behind in the count.
Well, you have to. I mean, you can't continue to throw knuckleball after knuckleball and walk people. You have to change your rhythm so you throw another pitch. It's like a guy who's throwing a 90-mile-an-hour fastball out of the strike zone. He has to throw a curveball or something just to change his rhythm.
And he strikes out Snow. 2 strikeouts in the first inning for Wakefield, and the Angels leave 2 in the first. After 1 in Anaheim, 3-0 Boston.
With Texas beating Minnesota 9-1, Seattle facing Baltimore trying to stay only 3 behind in the wild card race. And it's the Orioles' Rafael Palmeiro, who so quietly has hit 28 home runs this season, comes off Bob Walcott, and the Orioles are up over Seattle 1-0. We send it back to California and Sean and Joe.
Thank you, Carl. You mentioned Seattle's standing in the wild card race at the moment, 3.5 behind Texas with the Rangers win today. Milwaukee also 3.5 out. The Yankees have dipped below the 500 mark after getting swept by Oakland. These Red Sox will head to Oakland after tonight's game for a 4-game weekend series. Mike McFarland begins the second against Jim Abbott. Boston hits with a 3-0 lead. McFarland quickly in the hole, 0-2. He's batting .229. 13 homers, 42 runs batted in. He had the scare last night when he was hit in the back of the helmet by Mike Harkey. Kevin Kennedy, the Red Sox manager, said there is no doubt in his mind, in the mind of the Red Sox, that it was intentional. Pulled the foul past Dave Oliver.
That's interesting. I find it hard to think that a player would want to hit another player in the head. I'm sure Harkey may have planned on retaliating and knocking him down as Clemens had done to Garrett Anderson. That's what the Angels say started the problem.
Phillips throws him out.
But there's no excuse for hitting a guy in the head. That's in my opinion.
And I didn't mean to suggest that Kennedy said Harkey was trying to hit him in the head, just that he was definitely trying to hit McFarland.
But there's no excuse for hitting a guy in the head. There is room for pitching inside and moving hitters off the plate. Talking to some of the Angels, they felt like Roger Clemens definitely was trying to intimidate Garrett Anderson, the young kid, new player on the block. And hey, being perfectly honest with you, what's wrong with that? I mean, it's a new kid on the block. You find out if he can stand the heat, in the kitchen. If he can't, then, you find a way to try to get this young player out.
Chris James way out in front of the off-speed pitch, and the count goes to 0-2. James batting .277. Most of his action this year with Kansas City. He was traded to the Red Sox just before the trading deadline, a deal that sent Wes Chamberlain and cash considerations to the Royals. Looking for his first hit for Boston. He hasn't played much. This is just his 6th game, and he's 0 for 7.
Chris James has always been a handy, extra outfielder, the guy that can supply some power, can pinch hit for you, he can run pretty well, and he's a pretty good outfielder. So he is a guy, that's why he stayed around the big leagues as long as he has, because he can help a lot of ball clubs, especially a contending club.
And Kevin Kennedy felt he needed another right-handed bat on the bench. Kennedy was familiar with James, having managed him last year in Texas. Jim Abbott's 2-2 is up and away. Of course, Chris James is the brother of our ESPN colleague, former SMU and New England Patriot standout running back Craig James. About time for Craig to get back to work. The college football season starting this weekend. James strikes out. And here's Carl Ravitch.
All right, Sean, from two division leaders to the other one. That's Cleveland in Toronto, and Jose Mesa doing what he has done so effectively this season. Save number 38 straight. Albert Bell hit a home run his 29th. Kenny Lofton 2 for 5, and he stole his 29th base. The Indians now 38 games over 500.
38 games over 500.
And he saved 38. And many believe that the Cy Young race in the American League is coming down to a battle between Mesa and Wakefield.
There's no doubt Wakefield has to be in there, and Randy Johnson in Seattle has to be considered because he has the fancy numbers, the strikeouts, and I mean leads by about 80 over the strikeouts. There you see what they've done.
Wakefield's ERA #1 in the league. And it was a lot better until he ran into the Mariners Friday. He went from 1.65 to 2.08 after the Mariners shelled him over 3 innings. Wakefield's tied with Mike Messina for the league lead in wins.
And that's what will separate someone down the stretch. They'll have a couple of bad outings and change the whole complexion of the race. But that's what's going to happen in the wild card race, in my opinion, also. The last 10 days of the season, I don't think it'll go down to the last 3 or 4 days of the season. I think someone will separate themselves from the pack with about 7 to 10 days to go.
Alisea bounced it down to first. Great play by Snow. He's a candidate for a Gold Glove. An outstanding defensive first baseman, and he stayed with the bad hop. The Red Sox go in order in the second. Welcome back to Anaheim Stadium. Boston Red Sox with a 3-0 lead after an inning and a half. Mentioned at the outset, the Red Sox come in having won 18 of their last 20. During that stretch, they've averaged better than 6 runs per game, thanks in large part to the sizzling bat of Jose Canseco. The ERA's been solid. They've gained 9 games in the standings. History tells us the Red Sox should be heading in the other direction at this time of the year, and that was always the fear in New England, but that fear has been put to rest with the recent stretch of the Red Sox. Garrett Anderson, the leadoff batter, Rookie of the Year candidate at 347. I think he's going to win the award. Marty Cordova of the Minnesota Twins having an excellent year, but I think you'd have to vote for this guy.
He's done a great job in adding to this Angels offense. And I like what he just did, John. So he walked up there, he took a pitch, he took a strike, he took 2 pitches because he wanted to see a knuckleball. I'm sure he hasn't seen a lot of knuckleballs in his career. So he wanted to take a look. There are the numbers for Cordova and Nunley of Kansas City.
And Anderson strengthening his candidacy with another hit.
What he does on this particular at bat is he stays. Now watch how he gets out on his front foot a little bit, but he keeps going forward. See, that keeps the bat level longer. He doesn't lean back, and when he raised that front foot, all his weight went out on his front foot. I'm sorry, when he raised his back foot, all the weight went out on his front foot. That allowed him to keep the bat level for a longer period of time through the hitting zone. Stan Musial used to specialize in that, to kind of drag that back foot forward. Although he lifted his, it's the same effect. You drag it forward and let you keep the bat level a little longer for about 5 more inches.
Rex Hudler, the batter. Anderson runs as Hudler dribbled one foul down the third baseline.
See, I think that's a good play to send Anderson. I'm not so sure just to hit and run. Make McFarland throw someone out before you stop running. You're early in the ball game. Try to probe for a weakness with Wakefield. Put something on Wakefield's mind. Make him think about the fact that if he gets runners on base, they're going to start running unless they start throwing you out. And you can take those chances early in the ball game.
Red Sox lead 3-0 in the second. Anderson not running on the 0-1. It's backhanded out of the dirt by McFarland.
Watching Wakefield throw sometimes reminds me of Jim Cott. He kind of he holds it there, and then he just kind of steps and throws. Very unusual delivery.
Hudler foul tipped it at the plate. 1-2 on Rex. Hudler was a bit disappointed when he was not given the second base job on a daily basis when D. Sarcina went down for the year with the thumb surgery and easily shifted over to play short. Hudler said he had a couple of days where he was less than pleased in the clubhouse when Chico Lean was called up from the minors and given the second base job. And Hudler had a conversation with himself, realized he didn't want to hurt the chemistry of a team that was in first place. And he also had a conversation with Marcel Latchman, who was very honest with him. Told Hudler, we don't think you're an everyday player. I think you're more valuable as a utility man.
Well, one thing to remember, they call him Hurricane Hudler, and he makes things happen. And the problem is the things he's making happen are not always good for his ball club. He runs into a few mistakes, but he is a guy that's an aggressive player.
Shallow fly to center handled by McGee for the first out of the inning. Cal Ripken, he's playing in consecutive game number 2,118 tonight in Seattle. And 2 weeks from tonight, the record is scheduled to fall. And you can see it here on ESPN September 6th. That's a Wednesday night, 7:30 Eastern time. Now 12 behind Lou Gehrig, 12 to tie and 13 to move past him. What a special night that's going to be, not just in Baltimore, but for all of Major League Baseball. George Fabregas.
Looking at McFarland's ratio of throwing out runners, he's 18 of 48. And I'm sure that it would be a lot tougher to throw out someone on the knuckleball because you don't know where it's going while the runner is running. So there one finally gets away.
Anderson at second base now will await the scoring.
You take a look at this. He raises up, and actually he blocked his view with his glove, and the ball moved and then moved down a little bit on it. It's very difficult to catch a knuckleball.
And scored a pass ball. Fabregas chopped it over the mound. Elisea threw him out. And Anderson to third on the play. He's there with 2 down in the second. Boston has a 3-0 lead. As you might suspect, the Red Sox lead the league in pass balls, in large part because Wakefield's on the staff. It's the 23rd pass ball for a Boston catcher. Milwaukee also has 23, and of course they have Steve Sparks.
Yes.
A knuckleballer himself, Damian Easley, the number 9 hitter, looked at strike one. He's hitting .218, 4 homers and 32 runs batted in.
Willie Stargell, the great Hall of Famer from Pittsburgh, once said about Phil Necro's knuckleball, he said, you know, trying to hit a knuckleball is like trying to eat soup with a fork. It just doesn't work.
Chopped to third, Tim Naring throws him out, and the Angels leave a runner at third after 2, 3-0 Boston. Welcome back to Anaheim Stadium. Sean McDonough with Joe Morgan. The Boston Red Sox looking for a sweep of this 3-game series. Lead the Angels 3-0. Red Sox coming up with the top of their order in the third against Jim Abbott, who's retired 5 in a row since giving up a 2-run homer in the first to Jose Canseco. Mo Vaughn drove in the first Boston run with a single. Canseco would bat 4th in this inning. Red Sox can put a man on. Willie McGee leads off. Chop one foul past Dave Oliver in the third base coach's box. McGee started the ball game by bouncing out to the second baseman Rex Hudler.
And McGee is a guy that helps the Red Sox not just with what he does on the field, but he's been on world championship teams. He's able to talk to some of the young players and keep their heads on the right track as far as, playing in a pennant race. Some of these guys this is their first time. They're looking at an opportunity to be in the playoffs and possibly the World Series. So it's good to have some veterans on the ball club like Willie McGee, who has a World Championship ring.
That's an excellent point. He is, without question, an excellent influence on the young outfielders Lee Tinsley and Troy O'Leary. Pulled that one sharply foul, 1-2. And saw his impressive resume. Two-time batting champion. When he joined the Red Sox, he said, "I'm here to do whatever Kevin Kennedy wants me to do. He wants me to sit on the bench all the time, go in occasionally. That's what I'll do." And he's played more than occasionally. Kennedy has been rotating Tinsley and O'Leary and McGee. He had an awkward swing at strike 3, 1 out in the 3rd. That's the second strikeout of the night for Jim Abbott, who has now retired 6 in a row.
If there was ever a player built for AstroTurf, it was Willie McGee. That's why he won a couple of batting championships. Willie McGee stays on top of the ball. He swings over the top of that. And that ball was almost in the dirt, but he always stays over the top of the ball.
Now John Valentin, who reached on an error by Tony Phillips, the third baseman, stole second and scored on the move on single in the first. Red Sox lead 3-0 in the third. 1 out and the base is empty. 1 strike on Valentin. The Angels have an outstanding front 3 in their rotation with the lefties Abbott, Mark Langston, and Chuck Finley. The problem of late has been the last 2 spots in the rotation, filled of late by Brian Anderson and Mike Harkey. They lost the first 2 games of this series. And the good news is that both Sean Bosky and Mike Bilecki, who were at the end of the starting rotation for much of this season, are on rehab and working their way back, and they could join the Angels in September. Valentin, a deep drive to right. Salmon at the fence, leaps and makes the catch.
Nice play by Tim Salmon. He got back to the wall in time, knew where the ball was at all times, and actually made it a routine play. Valentin goes the other way. This pitch is out away from him, and he drives it the other way. See Salmon reach out for the wall. He knows exactly where he is, and that was a more difficult play than he made it appear. He made it look routine by the way he played the ball. Good outfield play there by Salmon.
And 2 down in the third for Mo Vaughn. He pops it up. Shallow right center. Salmon again. And the Red Sox go quickly in order in the third. After 2.5, Boston 3 and California nothing.
Well, we showed you the one Ohio team. That was Cincinnati. Now that was Cleveland. We check in on Cincinnati against St. Louis. And good news, David Wells, a complete game. He's now 3-1. And the Reds, unlike the Indians, they're only 27 over 500, Sean.
Well, they still have visions of an all-Ohio World Series in the Buckeye State, and certainly that's a possibility. Tony Phillips walked, opening the California first. The top of the order in the third for the Angels. They're down 3-0. It's the 80th time this year that Phillips has walked, and he has a chance to set the Angels club record. Brian Downing walked 106 times in 1987, the only time an Angel has topped the century mark in base on balls. Phillips, Edmonds, and Salmon against Wakefield. Wakefield off the mound quickly. He's an excellent athlete. Wakefield started his professional career in the Pirates organization as a first and third baseman. And he struggled to hit 200 in the low levels of the minors. Fooled around with the knuckleball in the outfield. And his minor league manager said, "You don't have much of a future as a hitter, but maybe we can convince the organization to let you try to pitch and throw that knuckleball." And obviously it's worked out nicely for him.
Well, we'll take another look at it in a second. That was the flight of a knuckleball. You need to see it more than once anyway to understand it. there's not any spin on the ball, so the seams will pull it one way or the other. That's what makes the knuckleball tough to control and tough to hit, because when a guy throws you a fastball, it has certain rotation on it. You can see the spin, so you know what it's going to do. He throws you a curveball, you can see the spin. Throws your slider, you can see spin. The knuckleball, there's not any spin, so you really are not aware of which way the ball is going to dip or go.
One and one, the count on Jim Edmonds.
And as a hitter, you're always better off, obviously, if you know exactly where the pitch is going to end up. If it's going to end up breaking in or moving away.
Ball 3 outside. Wakefield walked 2 in the first, got out of the inning, struck out Snow with men at first and second. Gave up a leadoff single last inning, and the Angels left the man at third. Edmonds top spin down the right field line for a hit, and he's going to try for 2 on Chris James, and he's in head first with a double.
That's what winning teams do. They hustle, they make something out of nothing, and he made his mind up right away he was going to go for a double. This is a fastball, and you have to make them play when they throw you a fastball. This is down the line. See, James kind of circles it to make sure he gets in front of it, and James has a pretty good arm from right field, but good hustle there by Edmonds, and he gets himself into scoring position with 2 outs. With 1 out, I'm sorry. But again, as I said earlier, you have to make the knuckleball pitcher pay when he throws you a fastball. And that's what Edmonds did there.
Tim Salmon took a ball up and in. The pitch eluded the grasp of McFarland. And now Edmonds is at third with 1 out.
I don't know if that's a wild pitch or a pass ball. The other one was definitely a pass ball. This ball moves up and in and away from McFarland. Watch this pitch. See, there's no spin on it. See, it's just floating, and it floats towards Salmon. And they're scoring it as a pass ball. That was a tough pass ball there.
Yes. Chances are the official scorer never tried to catch a knuckleball.
Exactly. Because that ball there jumped away from McFarland up and in on the hitter.
A 1-1 to Salmon, hit him.
Salmon's going to put a target on his back pretty soon, huh?
He got hit last night by Clemens, and now he's hit by a 67-mile-per-hour knuckleball.
That proves one thing, that Salmon does not get out of the way of the ball very well.
Yeah.
That's what it really proves.
And once again, the Angels have the tying run at the plate. It's Chili Davis, again batting right-handed against the right-handed knuckleballer Wakefield. Chili drew a walk in the first. What said the Angels most last night, according to Marcel Latchman, their manager, was that Clemens was not ejected when he hit Salmon, right, even though a warning had been issued. Tim McClellan was the home plate umpire. He said Clemens threw a changeup, and if you're trying to hit him, he wouldn't have thrown a changeup, but the Angels didn't think it was a changeup.
It wasn't a changeup. I think Chili Davis should be hitting from the left side for 2 reasons. One, he has a hole on the right side with Mo Vaughn holding Tim Salmon on at first base. He's also closer to first base if he hits a ground ball to try to stay out of the double play. The important thing here is for the Angels to get on the board, and he's a good hitter left-handed as well, and he has more things going for him from the left side in this particular case.
3-0 is the count right after Salmon was hit last night. Davis hit a home run as the next hitter, just as Canseco answered the brushback pitch to him with a homer. Davis responded in support of his teammate. He drives the 3-0 pitch up the gap in right center. Edmonds has scored. Salmon will be held at third. Davis in the second, and he is out.
Well, smart hitting, not smart base running, because the play was right in front of him. He should have been able to see that they were going to have a shot at him. But he does what you're supposed to do with a 3-0 pitch, a 3-0 fastball from a knuckleballer, make him pay. And Chili Davis does that by going the other way. Now you see the fact that Salmon's going to go around to third easily. Davis needs to stay at first base, but he could see right in front of him. He did not need any help from the coach. The play is right in front of you. You should make up your mind. You should make the right play in that situation. Stay at first base, and they can score another run with a fly ball. And especially when you're down, by 2 runs.
So it's a single and an RBI. The pitching coach Al Nipper out to the mound to chat with Wakefield toward the end of his pitching career with the Red Sox. Nipper fooled around with a knuckleball. So it's a single and an RBI for Davis, and the RBI is his 66th of the year. Now it's Salmon at third with 2 down for J.T. Snow, who struck out with 2 men on in the first. Boston has 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors. California 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error. 2-0 on Snow. Once again tonight, Wakefield is having a tough time getting ahead in the count. That's been a big part of his success for most of this year.
Well, the success you have when you're ahead in the count is that you get hitters to chase pitches. They will not chase this knuckleball out of the strike zone if they're not behind in the count. It's the same with a guy that throws a fastball. They will chase the slider out of the strike zone if you're ahead in the count. They will not chase it if you're behind in the count.
And Snow drives one to deep right. James at the wall. Home run. Again, the green light given to a California hitter with the count 3-0, and Snow didn't miss it. He rips his 17th home run of the year. Runs batted in 80 and 81, and this game is tied at 3.
Well, he learned something from his first at bat. He took a 2-0 fastball for a strike, but he makes him pay for throwing him a fastball this time. And that's all you can ask. As a team, you say, I'm going to make him pay every time he throws us a fastball for a strike. And that's what they've done this inning.
That ends an 0 for 16 drought for J.T. Snow. Those are his first runs batted in 8 games, his longest stretch of the year without an RBI. And Garrett Anderson lines one in the center.
This kid's a good hitter. I mean, he just takes a pitch, gets the feel of the knuckleball, and then he just goes ahead and lines it back to center field. He doesn't overswing. He just puts the ball on play. Now watch, again, he has already taken one. He's gauged it. Now here comes another one. He just lines it right back through the middle. He probably feels like, hey, I can hit anybody's pitch. When you're young, there's no fear. You think you can hit any pitch anytime, and Garrett Anderson is showing that he is a good hitter.
He's 2 for 2 tonight. That's 5 men in a row who've reached base against Wakefield. Obviously the big play, the inning. Chili Davis getting thrown out, trying to stretch his single to a double.
Chili can thank J.T. Snow that he picked him up, though. But that's what good teams do. They pick each other up.
And Hudler turned on one but lined it right at Greenwell, and that ends the inning. Once again, Wakefield is struggling for the second straight start. Jose Canseco leads off when we come back. Tim Wakefield touched up for 3 runs by California in the third, and as we go to the fourth, the Angels have drawn even with the Red Sox at 3-3.
Well, you have to remember one thing. It's not all Wakefield's fault. You have to give some credit to the hitters. You're talking about the California Angels. I mean, they score more runs than anybody else. And, I mean, they are a good hitting ball club. And they're just demonstrating that they can handle, Tim Wakefield tonight.
J.T. Snow with the game-tying home run. And here's Jose Canseco with a 2-run homer in the first. It gave Boston a 3-0 lead. Chopped one foul. Was the first home run given up by Jim Abbott since July 7th, when he was still a member of the White Sox. Chris Hoyles of Baltimore hit one against him that day, and the home run by Canseco tonight 55 innings later for Jim Abbott. Canseco, Naring, and Greenwell. The middle third of the Boston order coming up in the fourth. The Red Sox have not had a base runner against Abbott since the home run by Canseco. Jim's retired 8 in a row. Easily, and that's 9 in a row for Abbott. We hope you'll be tuned to ESPN Sunday night for ESPN Sunday Night Baseball as the Los Angeles Dodgers travel to Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. Mike Piazza will lead the Dodgers into Philadelphia. 8 p.m. Eastern time. Game time Sunday night. The Phillies feature a pretty fair catcher of their own, Darren Dalton, and with their recent winning ways, they've climbed back into the wild card picture.
And looked like the Phillies were dying quickly, and they've rebounded very well. Almost back and playing pretty good baseball again.
Tim Naring lined to second his first time up. He fouled that one off his leg, and it's quickly 0-2. And glad to see Jim Fregosi had his contract extended by the Phillies yesterday. He was without question one of the best managers in the National League, and he's done a nice job keeping that squad together through all the injuries.
You're right. Jim Fregosi told me a fantastic story once about one of his managers, Gil Hodges, and he forbid me to tell it on the air. So one of these days I'm going to tell it on the air. So Jim, I'm just going to warn you. I mean, it's a great story. It's a baseball story, you know, and those are usually the
well,
best
not to cause any problems between you and Jim, but there is no time. Like the president now teased us. If sooner or later you're going to tell it, might as well be now, right?
Well, okay, I guess we will. Gil Hodges sent him up to hit against Pedro Barbone once, and Pedro got him out. And he came back and he says, "Why did you think I could hit him?" He said, "Well, his name is Bourbon, isn't it?" And I'm sure Fregosi will let me know that I shouldn't have said that, but I thought it was a great story.
Mike Greenwell, the batter. He bounced to second, ending the first inning. And Abbott had a string of 9 in a row, ended by the Naring single. And Greenwell goes after the first pitch, as he does quite frequently. Fabregas couldn't make the play. Bounced right at the top step of the dugout. He had help on the home side, but he still couldn't make the play.
That's tough play with these sunken dugouts because it's a long drop off. See, he knows he's getting close, so it's hard to keep your eyes on the ball and on the top step. So, as they say, you're better off letting that one go. It's a foul ball anyway. You can get seriously injured falling into the dugout with all that catcher's equipment on.
One strike on Greenwell. 3-3 the score in the fourth. Naring the runner at first with one out. Pitch in the dirt. Naring did not try to move up. Naring is not a fast runner, which is another way of saying he's slow. You'll see Jim Fregosi this weekend.
I know. I'm kind of sorry I told it now. Maybe I should have told it Sunday night when he was not listening, or when
I told you not to tell the story. But
yeah, right. Okay, sir.
1-2 now on Greenwell. Once again, a solid season for average. Mike's had some injuries over the years that have reduced his power. Pulled that one foul into the Boston dugout. 1-2. Red Sox lead the season series between these two teams 7-3. Going for a sweep of this series tonight. We were fortunate enough to play in the postseason. Psychologically, if one team had an advantage, considerable advantage in the regular season series, does that factor in come postseason time?
Well, it does with the team that had the edge. I believe it does, and I don't think it factors in with the team that, you know, lost the most games. But the team with the edge, it gives them a little confidence knowing that, hey, we can beat these guys. But the team that lost most of the series, during the season would say to themselves, they rationalize by saying, hey, that was the regular season, this is the postseason, a new ball game. So I think it does have an effect, yes.
Kevin Kennedy thought that's one of the reasons the Angels were agitated last night. He said, we're 7-3 against them. Base hit. Right field. Naring will continue to third. He was running with the pitch. And the Red Sox are threatening to retake the lead with first and third and one out. Greenwell now 1 for 2.
Well, that's one of the things you can always do with Greenwell is put the runner in motion because he handles the bat so well. And he finds a hole on the right side. A lot of people think that just because the runner's in motion, you should always try to hit the ball the other way. That's not necessarily true if you're a left-handed hitter because there's already a hole on the right side, so you can take advantage of that hole.
Mike McFarland bounced to third in the second. Swing and a miss for strike one. That base hit by Greenwell extended his hitting streak to 8 games. And McFarland with good numbers in his career against Abbott.
Abbott needs to get a ground ball here, so he needs to try to throw a sinker away or something down. There's a pitch down, which is what he's trying to do, down and out away from him. So in case McFarland tries to pull it, he'll hit that great ground ball that you like to shortstop. This is situational hitting at its best, meaning there's a certain thing you should be trying to do here, and that's try to keep the ball from off the ground. If you're the hitter, you need to hit a fly ball to the outfield, and a lot of people will take the ball the other way just to stay out of the double play. The last thing you want to do is hit a ground ball to shortstop or second base. You want to stay away from the middle of the diamond until you get 2 strikes, then you have to try to put the ball in play.
2-1 fouled back below us. That's an interesting phrase, and it's the exact same phrase Kevin Kennedy used at the All-Star break when his team was in first place and he was being asked what areas he'd like to see his team improve in the second half of the season. He said number one is situational hitting. We have to do a better job of moving runners along and getting runners in from third, and they have done a much better job of that.
Right, I'll try to expound on that just a little bit in a second to make sure everyone understands.
Line to short, throw to first. That's a bad situation.
Yeah, bad base running there.
That's true.
Again, the ball's in front of you.
The line drive double play gets Abbott out of the inning unscathed. It's still 3-3. Tim Wakefield will face the bottom part of the California order to open the 4th inning in a 3-3 game. George Fabregas, the number 8 hitter, leads off. Then Damian Easley and Tony Phillip. Ball 1 low and in to Fabregas, who bounced to second in the second. He's been dividing the time behind the plate with Greg Myers for the California Angels. And he hits it to second again. Alicea throws him out.
Let's take a look at the double play at the end of the inning for the Red Sox. Let's see, this ball is hit in the air, so as a base runner you automatically check yourself, and Greenwell did not, and he's easily doubled off first base. But watch Greenwell's reaction. The ball's hit in the air, you shouldn't be running. He takes off running, and then he tries to get back. Anytime the ball is hit on a line, you have to check yourself. By checking yourself, I mean you have to stop and realize where the ball is going before you continue on. If there's a line drive and it goes through the infield, he's going to be able to get to second anyway. The only bad thing that could happen is what did happen.
Wakefield pitching now to Damian Easley, and it's quickly 0-2. Easley bounced to third in the second.
To show that Wakefield has struggled, he had thrown 60 pitches through 3 innings, which obviously equates to 180 over a 9-inning stretch. It doesn't take as much stress on your arm and your body to throw a knuckleball as it does, say, a fastball, but it still would be too many pitches.
And the strikeout of Easley is Wakefield's third. Here's Carl.
All right, Sean, thanks very much. Orioles and Mariners, and of course the Mariners in the wild card race, and Bobby Bowe trying to take him out of it as he takes the pitch deep to the gap in left center field. A triple scores Palmeiro in the third, who earlier had homered. 3-1 thanks to a Ripken RBI ground out. He's now playing in game 21-18. They have since added another. It is 4-1, Sean.
Everybody thought with the Mariners hanging in there as they did without Ken Griffey Jr. Once he came back, they might be the team to beat for the wild card, but they're in a win one, lose one, win one, lose two mode since Griffey came back.
Well, it looked like they were going to, like you say, take off because he got hot when they got back home. But they've lost a couple of games, tough games in the late innings. One in Oakland and one in Seattle. They've lost a couple of tough games after they were leading, you know, like by 3 runs going into the 8th inning.
Wakefield behind in the count 3-0. With Phillips a couple of times tonight, Marcel Latchman has given the hitter the green light at 3-0. Snow homered on a 3-0 pitch. Wakefield did throw the fastball. Phillips took it for a strike. And pulled that foul.
Another
Joe
fastball.
Madden.
One of the things that Phil Niekro always did to hitters when he had to throw him a fastball, he would come inside, and a lot of times they would pull it foul, as Tony Phillips did there.
You've mentioned Phil Niekro a couple of times, and the story's been told often that the Niekro brothers, Phil and Joe, spent a lot of time working with Wakefield.
Right.
This spring, Wakefield, a rising star in 1992 when he joined the Pittsburgh Pirates at midseason, helped them win the division title, then won 2 games in the LCS, which Pittsburgh lost in excruciating fashion Game 7 in Atlanta. But last year, Wakefield went 5-15 in the minors, was released in the spring this year. When the Red Sox signed him, they trained in Fort Myers, Florida. The Colorado Silver Bullets women's team working out in Fort Myers. They are managed by Phil Niekro. Joe works as a coach. And the Red Sox arranged to get together between the Niekros and Wakefield. The number one thing they told him was have confidence in the pitch. Don't try to aim it up there. You can't control where it goes anyway. Throw it aggressively. Have faith in the pitch. And it's made a huge difference with Wakefield, although as Niekro says, Tim deserves the credit. Edmonds hits it down to first, and that ends the inning. After 4, 3-3 the score.
Back with a check of tonight's Kellogg's K-Factor, and Mo Vaughn and Jim Edmonds in this game, the leading RBI guys in the American League, but also the, well, 1, 2, 3 of the 2 of the top 3 K guys. Mo 119 times has gone down this season, but you take the good with the bad, eh, Sean?
Yes, indeed you do, Carl, and he has more than atoned for those strikeouts, as has Jim Edmonds.
There are some statistics that are overrated, Sean.
Chris James trying to drive one up the gap in right center. That's in for a hit. He's on his way to second as Edmonds lobs it back into Hudler, and James has a leadoff double. He's 1 for 2.
Most left-handed pitchers you try to go the other way with because their ball naturally tails away. Jim Abbott pitches just the opposite. He pitches tight to right-handers, and he throws sliders and fastballs in, cut fastballs. But that is normally the way that you go against a left-handed pitcher. Drive the ball to center field and the other way.
Now Luis Alicea, bunt is a possibility. He sacrifices frequently. He turned to bunt and looked at a ball. 11 sacrifice bunts this year for Alicea. He's also been an angel killer this year. He has 6 home runs this season, 3 of them here at the Big A. And for the season, Alicea is now a .444 hitter against California, including those 3 home runs. .3-3 the score. The hits are even at 5 each. 1-1 to Alicea. Bounced quickly into his own dugout. That won't make him any friends.
That's what happens when you're concentrating so hard on hitting the ball the other way. You'll often hit it late. You see Mo Vaughn getting as far away from the bat as he can. Goes to the far end of the dugout. Frank White does the same thing in the first base coach's box.
The 1-2 in the dirt. It's obvious that Alicea was making an effort to get the ball to the right side. A little more right than he had hoped. And now the count is full. Willie McGee is on deck. The 3-2 pitch. He does get it to the right side and through past the diving Hudler. Salmon has a good arm. Here comes James. He is safe. The throw gets by Fabregas. Abbott was not in position to back it up. And Alicea goes to second.
And you have to give a lot of credit to Alicea. He just was determined to get the ball to the right side. And not only does he get the ball to the right side, but he gets rewarded for it. He finds a hole on the right side and puts the Red Sox ahead. I mean, that's just excellent hitting right there. He goes the other way, finds the hole. Now, Salmon does his job. Although he will get the error, he does his job. He hit the cutoff man. Snow could have cut the ball off, and they should have cut it off. And Abbott should have been backing up. So two things happened that were wrong, incorrect, yet Salmon's the one that's going to get the error probably.
He is. It's a single and an RBI for Alicea, so he continues to hurt the Angels this year. And he takes second on the error charge to Salmon. And now here's McGee with the man in scoring position and nobody out. There it is again, situational hitting, and Alicea delivering in that situation, doing what should have been trying to do. Again, McGee goes to the right. Alicea goes to tag, and he'll make it to third without a throw. It's cut off by Hudler.
Well, you get a chance to see why the Red Sox, one of the reasons that they're in first place. That is great execution, and we're talking about situational hitting. We've seen two good examples of that by, the second baseman Alicea, and now by Willie McGee. Let's take a look at that throw I was talking about with Salmon, and this will point out another fact that I think should be changed about the scoring rules. I think there should probably be something called a team error. See, this ball could be cut off right there by Snow. He lets it go. The ball bounces away from the catcher Fabregas, but Abbott was not back there backing up. It's not Salmon's fault.
Valentin sends it to center field, and that will bring in another run for Boston. Alicea in from third to make it 5-3. And Valentin has his 73rd RBI of the year.
Well, let's continue that situational talk that we started about. Situation hitting means you use your outs wisely, move runners with your outs. Alicea's job was hit the ball to the right side. He did so, and he got a base hit. Willie McGee's job was hit the ball to the right side. He did so and moved the runner up. Valentin's job was to put the ball in play into the outfield, and he did so by getting a base hit. So that, I don't think you'll hear any complaints from Kevin Kennedy about situational hitting in this case. This was just about perfect.
Now Mo Vaughn. He's recovered from his brush with the foul ball that went into the Red Sox dugout off the bat of Alicea. Mo singled to drive in a run and scored in the first. He flied to right in the third. Valentin has already stolen a base tonight, his 16th of the season. We know the Red Sox in their history are not known for their speed, and Valentin with 16 stolen bases has the most by a Boston shortstop since Heine Wagner stole 21 in 1912. Valentin runs again, and he is safe again. 2 for 2 in stolen bases tonight. Fabregas had the throw on the money, but Valentin beat it, and he has 17 steals this year.
What was the guy's name?
Heine Wagner. You didn't play against him.
No, I didn't
just
play
a little
against
before
Heine.
your time there.
Good jump there. Good pivot by Valentin. He does everything properly on this play. The throw is there by Fabregas, but you can see it was on the shortstop side. But good jump and a good slide there by Valentin.
Vaughn fouled one out of play to the left into the second deck.
A lot of base runners go ahead first into second base because you can get there quicker by extending your arm, and when you feel the pressure you can let it bend. If you slide feet first, you can't extend your leg straight out because you'll break an ankle or whatever. You have to have it a little bent. So in bending it, you do not get there as quickly as you would when you go head first. That's why you see most base stealers now dive in head first.
Huge cut and a miss by Vaughn, 1-2.
Whereas in the past, the Maury Wills, the Lou Brocks, all those great base stealers, they all went feet first. I don't think you ever saw Maury Wills dive into second base or even third base. He went feet first.
What was your preference?
Feet first, but that was the way I was brought up as well.
A 1-2 to Vaughn. Dug out of the dirt by Fabregas. Valentin with that steal of second is now tied for the Red Sox team lead in stolen bases with Lee Tinsley, 17 each. Taking a long time getting this sign, and now Fabregas is going to go out to the mound.
Let's take a look at the slide by Valentin and watch what I'm talking about. He stretches out completely. And watch, he'll stretch his left hand out as far as he can. That gets him there as quickly as he can get there. See, it's completely outstretched, and then he breaks it as it hits the bag. He bends it and takes the pressure off. But that allows you to get to the bag quicker. The only problem with that is it's very dangerous. The throw can hit you in the head. The fielder can go up in the air and come down on you. A lot of things can happen to get you hurt when you go in head first.
And Kevin Kennedy was saying before the game tonight that's one of the reasons why he does not have Mo Vaughn running as much as he was earlier in the year. Earlier in the year, when Canseco wasn't batting behind Vaughn, he didn't worry about taking the bat out of the hands of the hitter following Vaughn. But now that Canseco is there, they don't want to take the bat out of Jose's hand. But Kevin Kennedy said he also doesn't want to get Mo Vaughn hurt stealing a base.
I'll tell you what, if you look at Mo Vaughn and you look at Helke Canseco, man, they look like gladiators. Look at Mo Vaughn's front arm. He's got a lot of padding on that front arm, and Canseco has it on his left arm. Look at that. Look at it. These guys look like gladiators.
And they both have a lot of arm to protect.
Yeah, look at them. That front arm being protected, and Mo Vaughn has the same thing on his arm, his front arm. Look at that.
Well, as a team, the Red Sox get hit by a lot of pitches. And Vaughn and Canseco are high on that list. Vaughn's been hit 8 times this year. Canseco 4 with limited playing time for much of the year due to injury. Randy Easley is dancing around behind Valentin. Red Sox have scored twice here in the 5th to retake the lead. They led 3-0. California tied it at 3. Now Jim Abbott and the Angels trail 5-3, and Abbott's still in some difficulty here with the full count on Mo Vaughn, 1 out, and John Valentin at second. Jose Canseco on deck. And Jose will bat with 2 men on. That is the first walk thrown tonight by Jim Abbott.
When you look at the matchup with Abbott and Canseco, there's really not a way for Abbott to dominate or to be able to say, I'm going to go this way and get Canseco out. He can't get in tight enough because he's left-handed and the angle of the ball is coming towards Canseco, gives him a little chance to read it. So the only chance he really has is to stay away and try to get the ball down and get Canseco off balance with speed, try to get him to swing at a bad pitch. A right-hander with a good fastball can go inside on Canseco, which is really the way to pitch him. But Abbott doesn't match up real well with Canseco in this situation, unless Canseco helps him out by swinging at a pitch off the plate.
There is action now in the California bullpen from our vantage point. We cannot see into the bullpen, nor do our cameras have a good angle. The bullpens are, particularly the Angel bullpen, situated in a tough spot to view from the press box. We think it's John Habian warming up, a right-hander. First pitch to Canseco, strike on the outside corner. Jose hit a 2-run homer down the left field line in the first inning, extending his hitting streak to 14 games. He bounced to short in the fourth.
And that's the way he has to pitch, Canseco. He has to stay away and stay down. If he gets the ball up and out over the plate, he'll hit it over the right field wall.
Here's a look back at the first inning when Canseco took Abbott deep.
See, they tried to go inside, and he just does not have enough to get in on Canseco from the left side.
Canseco did not take batting practice tonight.
Well, he took it in the first inning. He started in the first inning.
His teammates did, but he decided he didn't want to. And I guess when you've hit 13 games in a row, you can do what you want.
Yeah. Usually works that way. That's the way he's going to have to pitch him. Try to get it, nibble away, and try to get him to go after a bad pitch. But if Canseco is patient and he has to come in, he really is just going to be hoping that Canseco gets under it or hits a ground ball to shortstop.
But certainly will take his time when men are on base. He has worked very slowly tonight.
Well, that first call was for a ball inside, and he said no. So I think he's thinking along the lines that I'm thinking. He has to go away like that. He has to stay away from Canseco. He tried to go inside in the first inning, and it cost him 2 runs. He doesn't want to make that same mistake again and cost himself 3 more.
Saw the Little League World Series scores, and here in Orange County, California, they are following this Yorba Hills team very closely. They're from nearby Yorba Linda, California.
76 pitches total here in the 5th inning.
Nice 2-2 just missed outside.
That's a nice pitch, though. He knows exactly what he's trying to do, and he makes the pitch just off the plate. And being honest with you, with 2 strikes, a lot of hitters would go for that. You have to go for it with 2 strikes, but Canseco laid off. And I think Canseco laid off because he doesn't think he can hit it, not so much because he thought it was a ball, because he's taken that pitch out there each time he's thrown it for a strike so far.
3-2 with 1 out and 2 men on. 5-3 Boston in the 5th. Canseco will be followed by Tim Naring. The runners go on the 3-2 with 1 out. Jose grounded it up the middle. Vaughn is safe at second, and Canseco is out at first. Hudler threw him out.
Well, he kept nibbling out there till he made the pitch that he needed. And that's good pitching. You have to give Abbott credit because, again, that matchup was not good for him in this situation. See where that pitch is? Out away from him. Canseco reaches out, grounds it up the middle, and only because Mo Vaughn was running was he able to stay out of the double play. Now watch this pitch. It's down and away from Canseco, which is what Abbott was trying to do after he got 2 strikes on him. Watch where this pitch is. That is just a beautiful pitch. Canseco gets wood on it, but can't do anything with it.
When the runner's not been going, it might have been a hit because that brought Hudler right to the second base bag.
Good point, because they were playing him way around. I mean, the shortstop was way over, and Hudler was playing him deep and behind the bag.
Naring line to second in the first, single to center in the 4th. Obviously, when you've won 18 out of 20, this is the kind of situation in which your team has produced runs. 2 men in scoring position and 2 outs. More often than not, lately, the Red Sox have come up with the big hit in this type of situation.
Hit very well with runners in scoring position there. 28 for 91.
Good pitch on the outside corner. 1-2 on the former Miami of Ohio Redskin, Tim Naring.
I think what you're seeing from Abbott is an adjustment here to the Red Sox hitters. Abbott's main pitches are sliders and hard cut fastballs inside, and he pitches left hand, right hands inside. That hasn't worked, so now he's going the opposite way. He's gone away from Canseco. He's staying away from Naring. Now he goes inside again. Well, that's a breaking ball. It wasn't really inside. But he is trying to stay away from these hitters now. And it's well known around the league how Abbott pitches. So sometimes you, as the pitcher, have to make adjustments. Hitters have to make adjustments to what the pitcher's doing. Pitchers have to make adjustments to what the hitters are doing to them on that particular day.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Inside corner, strike 3, says Mark Johnson. Tim Naring didn't like it. Boston gets 2 runs. They leave 2 men in scoring position. And after 4.5, it's Boston 5 and California 3.
In Colorado, the big 3 with big hits, including this one from Andres Galarraga, his 27th of the year. Bichette hit his 31st. Castilla hit his 29th. Only Larry Walker didn't go deep. The Rockies over the Pirates 9-5, so the wild card shapes up this way. A 6-2 loss by the Astros means the Rockies are now tied with them. And the Phillies get a grand slam from Eisenreich, beat the Padres 12-8. They're only 1.5 back, Sean.
Thanks, Carl. First pitch of the 5th from Tim Wakefield, fouled away by Tim Salmon. Wakefield pitching with the lead again. Red Sox led 3-0. The Angels tied it at 3. Now Boston leads 5-3. Salmon, Davis, and Snow coming up. 0-2. Salmon struck out in the first, was hit by a pitch, and scored in the 3rd. Wakefield has not had a 1-2-3 inning. Deep drive down the left field line, hooking toward the pole. Home run.
Salmon has a short swing, so you know he should be able to handle knuckleballs and any other kind of pitches. This pitch is up a little bit, and that's why he's able to hammer it. It's up and hangs out over the plate, and he just drives it deep. It really wasn't any doubt because it wasn't hooking. It looked like it was going to hook foul, but it just stayed out there for a home run.
An 0-2 pitch. Salmon hits his 29th of the year. He's now tied with his teammate Jim Edmonds and Manny Ramirez of Cleveland for 3rd in the league in home runs. The RBI is his 85th.
The only difference, an 0-2 pitch with a knuckleball pitcher is much different than an 0-2 pitch with a regular pitcher, because what is he going to do to to get you to chase a pitch? I mean, he wants you to chase the knuckleball anyway, so a knuckleball pitcher really does not waste pitches.
And Chili Davis drives one to deep left. Greenwell running out of room. This game is tied again.
About a group of good hitters. You're not just saying that Wakefield doesn't have it today, but when he gets behind and he has to come with the fastball, Chili Davis just nails him, and we talked about it earlier in the game. When you get a knuckleball pitcher in a position where he has to throw you a fastball, you have to make him pay for it.
Snow checks his swing and fouls it in right. The home run by Chili Davis is 17th. He's driven in 2 runs tonight, has 67 runs batted in for the year. Both of his RBI hits in this game came on 3-0 pitches.
Well, that's good hitting, smart hitting. Work the count in your favor, get the fastball and hit it. And no matter what we say, you get the fastball, you still have to hit it. And you still have to drive it, and that's what they're doing.
J.T. Snow homered in his last at bat.
Where's Charles Chili Davis?
Snow trying to make it 3 in a row. Greenwell at the wall, leaps and makes the catch.
Man. Nice play there by Greenwell. Well, it's a knuckleball that's diving down and away, gets most of it. Greenwell reaches over and takes a home run. Well, maybe not. Can't really tell from that angle. It may have been over, it may not have.
Snow denied in his bid for his second home run in as many at bats. Anderson drives one to right. And James is there. They're taking excellent swings against Wakefield. Wakefield coming off his worst start of the season in his last outing against Seattle, and this qualifies as his second worst start statistically of the season.
Well, they're definitely zeroing in on him. I don't know if they've found something out or his knuckleball is not dancing as much as it was earlier in the game, but they're taking big swings at him.
Rex Hudler hit by the pitch. And he just runs down to first.
Well, maybe knuckleball pitchers get upset too. They say, hey, I want you to know I'm still out here.
There is action in the Boston bullpen, as you might suspect, with the swings that they've been taking against Wakefield in this inning. Second batter Wakefield has hit tonight. Mike Maddox is warming up in the Boston bullpen. George Fabregas, the batter, is twice bounced to second. 1-0 the count on Fabregas. And Al Nipper, the pitching coach, is going to the mound. On his last outing, Wakefield gave up 7 earned runs in 3 innings. That was his worst start of the year. This his second worst. Prior to that 7-run outburst by the Mariners against them in his last outing, Wakefield had not given up more than 3 earned runs in a start, and he had only given up 3 earned runs in a start 3 times. Hudler at first.
Hudler is 7-0 in stolen base attempts this year. This would be a good time for him to take off.
One and one the count on Fabregas. Two balls and a strike.
Renee Latchman. Marcel.
Yes.
Sorry. Sorry,
Brother of Renee.
Yeah.
Three balls and a strike. And he walks. The fourth walk thrown by Wakefield. He's also hit 2 men. And Kevin Kennedy undoubtedly is pondering how much longer he'll stick with Wakefield. Kennedy used up his bullpen last night in the win over California. Everybody but Joe Hudson saw action out of the bullpen. He'd like to stay away from bullpen for as long as possible tonight. Damian Easley lines it to left. Greenwell makes the running catch. Thigh high. That ends the inning. The Angels took great swings throughout the inning against Wakefield. They got back-to-back homers to tie the ball game from Tim Salmon and Chili Davis. After 5-5 the score. California Angels, the highest scoring team in baseball, have tied the Boston Red Sox again at 5-5. Sean McDonough with Joe Morgan. Last year the Angels were the lowest scoring team in the league. This year they're number one. Rod Carew, the hitting coach, has been getting a lot of the credit.
Well, and I think he deserves a lot of the credit. When you look at the lifetime averages of these players and how much they've jumped this year, working with him the last couple of years has really improved a lot of the hitters on this Angels ball club. I think if you talk to them, they all give him a lot of credit. And especially, you know, J.T. Snow, because he has always liked J.T. Snow as a hitter, even though J.T. Snow went back to the minor leagues, etc. He always told me this guy's going to be a big hitter in the big leagues one of these days.
Gary DeSarcina, an all-star this year with his much improved hitting. And the Angels have scored 5 times in 5 innings tonight. Jim Abbott has not pitched with the lead. The Angels have been fighting from behind all night since the Red Sox scored 3 in the top of the first. Mike Greenwell, then Mike McFarland and Chris James in the 6th. Abbott missed outside. Greenwell is 1 for 2. He singled to right in the 4th. He had a spin away from that pitch that was in tight.
One of the things he does with left-handers now that he didn't do before, because all of his pitches he used to throw the cut fastball and the slider away. Now he's learned to come back inside with the fastball.
The acquisition of Abbott, enormously popular here in Southern California. He was very popular with the fans in his first go around with the Angels, and since they brought him back to Southern California, the Angels have sold 2,000 season ticket packages. Greenwell walks to open the 6th, just the 2nd walk thrown by Abbott. Mike McFarland 0 for 2 last time up. He lined into a double play with men at 1st and 3rd. Greenwell was the runner at 1st, a bit too anxious to get going as McFarland lined to short. They doubled Greenwell off first. McFarland's with the Red Sox for his first season in Boston. He spent his entire career in the Kansas City organization before signing with Boston this year as a free agent. 2-0 the count.
And you see that Abbott's trying to keep the ball down here to McFarland so he can get the ground ball for the double play. But he has thrown 6 straight balls to start the 6th inning.
There is action in the California bullpen. Mike James is warming up. That's 7 balls in a row to open the inning. Uncharacteristic control trouble here for Abbott. Johnson said, not so fast. And he walks McFarland just after his mates have gotten Abbott even again. He walks the first 2 batters of the 6th inning.
mentioned Kennedy not knowing how long to go with Wakefield. I think the same thing is happening with Latchman. Marcel is trying to decide how much farther he wants to go with Abbott as well.
It looks like he'll get at least one more hitter as Chris James is in the batter's box. 5-5 the score. The Red Sox threatening to take the lead again. James with a very good bunt. Phillips has to go to first, and Hudler did stay on the bag.
That's a great play there by Hudler. I mean, with the runner bearing down on him, he had to stay on the bag and avoid the runner. Phillips' throw was to the inside. Good bunt by James. He does the job. Tony Phillips comes in. He has plenty of time, but the throw, you can see, tails into the runner. And Hudler does a great job of avoiding the collision there. The Angels are going to play the infield in, which is unusual in my opinion in this situation, simply because one run is probably not going to beat you in this ball game. But when you play the infield in, what happens is you take away all the range of the infielders and you open yourself up for a big inning. And since they're at the bottom of the order, I'm sure that's why Latchman is taking a chance. Probably wouldn't do it if they were in the middle of the order.
Alicea has been an Angel killer, as he mentioned during his last at bat. He singled in his last at bat to drive in a run. He also scored last inning. He's in the hole here with Abbott 0-2. The 0-2 up and away. Fabregas to third. Greenwell back safely.
Now Fabregas couldn't get the ball out of his glove quickly enough. They had a pickoff on Tony Phillips, and Fabregas did. But it's also, that's what's great about having a right-handed hitter up there. You have to throw around him. If there was left-handed hitter there, you'd have a clear shot at third base.
Abbott 4 pitches away from 100. 1-2 blocked by Fabregas. Ball low and in. 2-2 on Alicea. The 2-2 just outside.
Well, the fans thought he got a lot of the plate. As a backdoor breaking ball, he starts it off the plate outside. So his pitch is outside. Now he tries to catch the outside corner with it.
And he has walked 3 in the inning. And that is going to do it, it would appear, for Abbott, as Marcel Latchman is on his way to the mound. And they will make a pitching change. With the score 5-5, Boston with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 6th. We'll return to the Big A in just a moment. Welcome back to Anaheim, California. Sean McDonough with Joe Morgan. 5-5 the score in the 6th. Jim Abbott walked 3 in the inning, and he is out of the ball game. Well, here in Southern California, they'll be watching the Little League World Series with great interest tomorrow afternoon. It begins at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. At 3, it's the International Championship game, Latin America versus the Far East. Then at 4:30, it's the United States Championship game, and the team from Yorba Linda, California, adjacent to Anaheim, has made the U.S. Championship game representing the West. They'll take on the South representatives from Spring, Texas. Tomorrow at 3, the Little League World Series. And here's Mike James, the new pitcher for California, on for the 33rd time. perfect 3-0 record with 1 save and a .291 earned run average.
He pitched here on Monday, and he allowed both of the runners he inherited to score against Boston, so making another appearance in this series.
And he hopes to fare better this time. He's 28 years old, from Fort Walton, Florida, the rookie. He had not pitched at all in the major leagues prior to this year. Tim Wakefield has twice been given the lead by his mates, and on both occasions has squandered the lead. He's hoping his mates will grab the lead again. Bases loaded, 1 out in a 5-5 game in the 6th. The top of the order, and Willie McGee, who's 0 for 3. Infield back at double play depth.
And unless McGee hits it hard right at the shortstop or the second baseman, it's going to be very difficult to double him up.
One strike on McGee. Willie has hit into 2 double plays this year in 113 at bats. He tried to check his swing and could not.
That ball really ran away from Willie. Looked like it was going to be a strike, and it just ran down and away from him. Tailed away, I should say.
And it had something behind it. Our gun downstairs had that pitch from James at 92 miles per hour. The 0-2. Chopped foul.
I don't argue with 92s. I start to question them when they get over 100. 100 miles an hour. That's awfully fast.
Greenwell, the runner at third. McFarland at second. And Alicea at first. All 3 reached base by a walk thrown by Abbott. Abbott did not walk anybody in the first 4 innings. He's walked 4 over the last 2 innings. And the 3 in this inning spelled his exit. Fabregas sets up inside, and the pitch was up. Well, they set up outside, and McGee strikes out again. A half-hearted swing. And a big strikeout for James for the second strikeout of the inning.
Again, this ball really tails away from McGee. It looks like it's going to be something he can hit. See right there. Now look how that ball really tails away, and it's so quick that Willie can't check. Good pitching there by James, but he's still not out of the inning.
No, indeed. He'll need to retire John Valentin. Valentin singled to drive in a run last inning. Reached on an error and scored in the first. He's 1 for 3. An RBI, a run scored, 2 stolen bases tonight. And he took ball 1 up and in. James spent 6 years in the Dodgers organization without ever reaching the majors. Made it as far as AAA. Then he was traded to the Angels in a deal for an outfielder named Reggie Williams in October of '93. Spent all of last year at the Angels AAA club in Vancouver. He tied up Valentin, who hit a pop-up, and James wants it at the mound. Then he made room for Snow. And a great job done by Mike James to come in and get Abbott out of the jam. Red Sox leave the bases loaded. It's still 5-5. Kevin Kennedy with his bench coach Tim Johnson alongside. They watched their team squander a great chance to take the lead. Tim Wakefield to struggle again tonight. Over his last 2 starts, he's given up 12 earned runs in 8 innings against Seattle and California. He went into that start in Seattle with a 14-1 record and ERA of 1.65, but the last 2 starts have not been kind to him. He's facing the top of the order in the 6th in a 5-5 game. Tony Phillips has walked twice and bounced back to the mound. Sorry, Joe.
Sorry. Now, if you're the Angels, this is a perfect situation for you. You want Tony Phillips leading off with the big guns coming up. Even though a guy's a leadoff hitter in the game, he doesn't lead off very many times during the course of a ball game. And this is the ideal situation for the Angels right now.
Noted earlier that the bad blood between these two teams extends back beyond last night. It goes back to early June when the Angels were at Fenway Park and Phillips was batting in a ball game. Didn't like a strike call against him, complaining to the umpire. McFarland, the catcher, told him to be quiet and get back in the batter's box. Might not have been those exact words. And the next thing you know, they were jostling. Nothing happened to McFarland in terms of discipline from the league office. Phillips was suspended for 3 games, fined $1,500. And that was a part of the issue last night, lingering bad blood between Phillips and McFarland.
Good pitch. But Tony Phillips thinks it was high, but I saw it break over the middle of the plate. Don't know much about the height yet. We'll take a look, but Tony thought it was high, and if you watch the way that McFarland pulled it down, you might have to agree with him, but I'm not sure. You can't tell from that angle where the pitch was when it crossed the plate. Remember, it's where it crosses the plate, not where the catcher catches it.
And the way McFarland caught that one made it look worse than it was.
Right.
Ball 1 to Jim Edmonds.
And it's more important with a knuckleball. Because the ball can cross the plate in the strike zone, and before you know it, 2 inches later, it's jumped the other way.
Say, this day and age, Edmonds qualifies as a bargain. He makes $117,000.
That's a bargain basement price, as they would say.
A guy who might win the MVP award. I'd be interested to get your opinion on a topic that's been much discussed, and that is, should a pitcher be a candidate for the MVP? In Boston, they point to Wakefield as a leading candidate to win the Cy Young and MVP.
Well, in my opinion, no. That's what they have the Cy Young Award for. Because if you look at, he has pitched in, well, he's 14-2. That means he's won 14. He's probably helped win a couple of other games that they won when he started. So you figure he may help you in a total of 20 to 25 games. Mo Vaughn helps you more than 25 games. John Valentin helps you more than 25 games. So I find it difficult to justify a pitcher getting the most valuable player award unless he wins 30 ball games or half of your games.
McFarland has it near the rail, 2 down. Wakefield has not had a 1-2-3 inning tonight. Well, Mike Greenwell agrees with you. He was asked recently about that, and he said the exact same thing. He just believes that the Cy Young Award is sort of the equivalent of the MVP award for pitchers. He suggested there ought to be a most outstanding player award, which would get rid of that problem you have every year with the MVP. Does it go to the player who is most valuable to his team or to the guy who had the best year?
That's a good point, but then I think it will devalue some of the awards. I think baseball has the right amount of awards now. We add one more and it'd be too many, I think. That's what baseball is about, the controversy. There are a lot of people who will obviously disagree with me. They say, well, a pitcher wins, he wins, and that's true. So that's what baseball is about, being able to argue over different subjects, etc. And that's what keeps baseball, at the top of its game, when you can argue whether a pitcher should win it. I remember Bob Gibson won it, the most valuable player and the Cy Young Award, when he had a 1.12 earned run average. So, and I remember Sandy Koufax did that as well. So it's people have done that. Vida Blue did it in the American League. People have won both awards. In fact, I think Raleigh Fingers did.
Roger Clemens.
Yeah, right. So obviously someone disagrees with my thoughts. But I still believe that an everyday player contributes more to a pennant drive than a pitcher who pitches once every 5th day.
3-1 is chopped foul by Salmon. Salmon homered last inning, was hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd.
Well, of course, Raleigh Ollie Fingers pitched more than every fifth day. When he won, he was a stopper, and he pitched a lot of innings. And he was different than today's stoppers. He pitched more than one inning to get the saves.
Close pitch. McFarland wanted it, as did Wakefield. It came down off the front of the mound.
There's Jose Mesa, who's in the Cy Young Award race. Here we list the people we think are in line for the award: Wakefield, Johnson, and Mesa. Saves are a different story in that, you're closing out a game, but you already have the lead. And again, these are my opinions. It doesn't mean that this is the only way to look at it. But you already have the lead. And so you're really holding a lead that was acquired by the other members of your team. Mo Vaughn gives his team a lead in a lot of cases. We're talking about the MVP award. But in the Cy Young Award, I mean, obviously stoppers have won before, so I don't see how you can throw Mesa out just for the fact that they have won before.
Two and one is the count on Chili Davis. He homered in his last at bat. Well, obviously, it's a close race for the Cy Young Award, and these are important starts for Wakefield with that in mind. He's not helping himself in his last couple of outings. 2-2 the count.
The point I was trying to make earlier, things usually separate as we get closer to the deadlines. Wakefield may have a couple of bad outings. Johnson, Mesa, someone will separate themselves from the pack.
It slowly to the right. Alicea throws him out. And we go to the 7th in Anaheim, California. The Red Sox and Angels still tied at 5.
In Seattle, they all talked about Griffey's return, but in Texas, Juan Gonzalez has made even a bigger impact. His 18th home run, he's hitting a home run in slightly less than every 12 at-bats. 9-1, the Rangers beat Minnesota. The wild card race, the Rangers 3.5 over the Mariners, who were losing. The Brewers and Royals were idle, and the Yankees also lost today. So what could be a very productive day for Texas. And we send it back out to the field in California and Sean McDonough.
Thank you, Carl. Joe, the Rangers deserve a lot of credit. They had a long losing streak. Looked like their team was falling apart. Bob Tewksbury, their outstanding starter, went on the disabled list right near the end of that losing streak. And John Oates done a nice job with that team.
You're right. He has done a nice job, and they have bounced back like the Phillies. And that's what's great about the wild card. Whatever you want to say about it, it gives teams incentives to bounce back.
First pitch of the 7th from Mike James, a strike to Mo Vaughn. Vaughn is single to drive and run, and he scored in the first. He flied to right in the third, walked in the 5th. Red Sox left the bases loaded. Last inning, they loaded them with 1 out. James came in to get Abbott out of the jam. And he's been throwing hard in the low 90s. Canseco and Naring coming up. It's ball 2 outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Good movement on that pitch. Fooled Vaughn. He tried to check the swing, missed the pitch by a mile.
Well, he's been throwing the 90-mile-an-hour fastball. You do not have a lot of time to make up your mind. This is a breaking ball down and in, and Mo was committed to that fastball. That's what makes hitting so tough. The guy can throw 90 miles an hour, and then he can do that to
you. Makes you wonder how a guy who seems to have a good arm like James could spend 7 full years in the minors before getting his first shot at the major league level this year.
Difference between minor league pitchers and big league pitchers is that big league pitchers make fewer mistakes, even though people say, well, that ball's right in the middle of the plate and the guy hit it out. But he's probably thrown 3 or 4 other good pitches prior to that. But the hitters adjust better here in the big leagues.
Broken bat. Bounced right back to James. One out in the 7th in this 5-5 game. And Jose Canseco greeted again by a loud chorus of boos.
This should be interesting, Sean. They pitched him away with Abbott, trying to stay away from him. But if you have a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, you should pitch Canseco inside as well. And we'll see how they decide to go after him. They're going away again.
He rips one into center field. Line drive base hit. He's 2 for 4.
Well, he likes the ball out over the plate where he can extend his arms and really turn on it. If you come inside hard, you can tie him up and keep him from. Look at this extension right there. I mean, that's power. Beautiful swing right there.
Jose has recently taken up golf, and there isn't a golf course in America long enough, I think, to hold some of his drives. I've seen him hit it. He has no idea where it's going, but it goes a long way in every direction. And he loves it. Plays a lot. Naring took a strike. Naring's 1 for 3. Single to center in the 4th.
Problem with golf and your baseball swing, you may get an uppercut in it if you play a lot of golf.
Chopped slowly to short. Naring running. They have a chance. Safe. Looked like Snow was off the bag as he handled the throw from Hudler, and Naring is aboard with 2 down on the fielder's choice.
Well, Hudler was under a lot of pressure from Canseco as well. Nice play by Easley. He starts this about as quickly as you can. Watch, he gets rid of it quickly. Right on low throw, but see, Canseco's on top of Hudler before he can step towards first base, so he couldn't get a lot on the throw. So good pressure there by Canseco at second base.
And it keeps the inning alive for Greenwell. 5-5 the score in the 7th. Good pitch by James. Fastball outside part of the plate. Greenwell 1 for 2 with a single to right field off Abbott in the 4th.
Did you happen to see the interview, one of the things we did with Greg Maddux about pitching? He says he just throws the ball, tries to throw it knee high and over, not necessarily over the inside corner or the outside corner, just knee high. I thought that was great. Shows that you could need to throw strikes.
The ground ball off the bat of Greenwell ends the inning. 7th inning stretch here at the Big A. 5-5 the score. The attendance here tonight at the Big A, 29,053. With the Angels' success this season, the attendance has picked up a little bit here, but they're certainly not packing them in to watch this exciting first place team. They're only averaging 23,000 fans per home date. And Wakefield's first pitch of the 7th, a strike to J.T. Snow. Snow's 1 for 3, a 2-run homer in the 3rd. He nearly hit another in the 5th. He sent Mike Greenwell to the fence to make a leaping catch. He sends that to straightaway center and into the glove of Willie McGee. 1 out. Tomorrow night, the NFL takes center stage here on ESPN as the Philadelphia Eagles, with new running back Ricky Waters, take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. The Eagles 3-0 in the preseason. And the Steelers minus a couple of Pro Bowl players from days gone by. Barry Foster and Eric Green, still a contender to go to the Super Bowl out of the AFC this year. That'll be fun to watch tomorrow night.
When you watch Garrett Anderson swing, there's no wasted motion here. I mean, I really like this kid. I think he's going to be a really fine player. He's proven that already. But watch, there's not any wasted motion, no head movement, just a beautiful swing.
And hopefully he'll swing at one to make the point.
Yeah. He's swung at enough of them this year to make the point with the other players and the other pitchers in the league.
3-0 fastball at the knees for a strike. Anderson 2 for 3, a couple of singles tonight. He was up for a little bit last year, but didn't qualify, didn't appear enough to lose his qualification as a rookie this year. He turned on that one and pulled it foul.
Again, that's why I think that Wakefield should do, when he has to throw the fastball, throw it inside. Most of the time they say, well, I'll throw it away. try to keep it away from the hitters. But if you throw it inside, the hitter sees the fastball in, he reacts, and he'll pull the ball foul more than likely. If you get it out over the plate, he'll just go out and get it.
Even though Anderson was here last year, he apparently did not qualify for benefits in terms of payments that the players received during the strike to help them along. Gary Anderson during the strike was working in a store stacking boxes for $6 an hour. I don't think he'll be going back to that job this offseason.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
He walks with 1 out in the 7th.
He may own the box company.
So Wakefield has walked 5. That matches the highest walk total that he's had in a start this year. And here's Rex Hudler, who's hit by a pitch in his last at bat. He's 0 for 2, a couple of fly balls to the outfield. 5-5 the score in the 7th. The Angels have a runner with decent speed at first in Anderson.
I really don't think there's anything for Boston Red Sox fans or the Red Sox to be alarmed about with Wakefield. I mean, the years that Roger Clemens won the Cy Young, I'm sure he had 3 or 4 bad outings. I mean, you can't expect a pitch.
Hit on the ground is short, a double play ball, and Alicea dropped it. Out at second is Anderson, as Alicea had it long enough to record the out. He lost it in the transfer, and when that happens, generally the umpire calls the runner out, but they would have had 2 had Alicea been able to make the throw to first.
Well, this is a perfect double play ball, and this is just a catch between the second baseman and the shortstop. And you can see Alicea did change the trajectory of the ball, which means that he did have control of it, and he lost it when he went in to get it. But the one thing he did, he grabbed it with one hand and then tried to stick his other hand in.
So Hudler's at first with 2 down for George Fabregas, who took a strike on the outside corner. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
My point is, if you make 30 starts in a year or whatever, you're going to have some bad starts. I mean, it's just that simple. And you can't expect Wakefield. He was 14-1 at one time. You couldn't expect him to be 28-2.
Base hit in the left. Hudler continues toward third. Greenwell's throw is cut off. So the failure to turn the double play might turn out to be a big play as Fabregas keeps the inning going.
Take a look at Fabregas' knuckleball away, and he just kind of pushes it over shortstop in the left center field. Good base running here by Hudler as he just turns it on and goes over to third base. And the Angels have runners at first and third now with 2 down. And you're right, the double play that should have been made could haunt the Red Sox.
Damian Easley scheduled, but Spike Owen is going to bat for him, trying to break this 5-5 tie and give the Angels the lead for the first time tonight. Easley 0 for 3. His average is dipping down toward 200, so they'll go to the veteran Owen, who's been an excellent pinch hitter this year. He's 10 for 20 as a pinch hitter with 12 pinch hit runs batted in. And Kevin Kennedy is on his way to the mound. Owen was ejected from last night's game. He was not in the lineup, but he was a little agitated with the umpires after they failed to eject Clemens when he hit Salmon. Davey Phillips, the crew chief and second base umpire, threw Owen out for jabbering at him from the dugout. Owen came sprinting onto the field. Marcel Latchman had to grab him by the jersey and spin him around a couple of times to keep him off the umpire. And it took Owen quite a while to calm down.
Well, he looks a little better today, doesn't he?
Yes, indeed he does.
What a difference a day makes.
There are the numbers we spoke of for Owen as a pinch hitter. The conference at the mound continues. Mark Johnson has gone out there.
Here's a tough situation for Kennedy. He probably wants to make a change, but if Wakefield is your ace now, you have to give him a chance to get out of this situation and possibly win the ball game. He has pitched this long.
He's thrown 126 pitches, which, as Joe said, is high, but for a knuckleballer, that's not as much of an issue. Really, it's the legs that might affect Wakefield more than the arm. You made the point pitchers go through slumps, but I think what concerns people in New England is Wakefield had the great run with Pittsburgh.
Right.
Then all of a sudden he lost it completely. And how long does it take to lose it completely?
Well, and that's a good point, because I think that keeps Wakefield working hard. He knows that it can't all go at once.
Owen takes a knuckleball for ball 1.
Yeah, having that in the back of your mind will continually push you. So Wakefield will try to figure out why he has had problems these last 2 ball games, and maybe he will come up with an answer.
And on the hands and fouled away.
Sometimes when things are going well for you, it doesn't matter whether you're a hitter or a pitcher. You take things for granted. You just walk up to the plate and you hit. And pitchers are the same way. They just go out there and they know what to do. But when you hit a slump, you have to be able to work your way through it, and you have to work hard enough to work your way through it.
1-1 is pulled foul. Action continues in the Boston bullpen. Left-hander Eric Gunderson is throwing. 5-5 the score. Runners at first and third with 2 outs for California in the 7th. A count of 1-2 on the former Boston Red Sox shortstop Spike Owen. Knuckleball drifted high. Should Owen reach, Tony Phillips would bat next.
And remember, the double play should have had Wakefield out of this inning. They did not turn it, so he's still out there throwing.
And it won't hurt the Red Sox as Owen pops it up and Alicea makes the catch. And California squanders a great chance to take the lead. They've left 10 men on base. After 7, still 5-5. Tim Wakefield and pitching coach Al Nipper discussing Wakefield's mechanics. He just got out of a jam to keep the game tied at 5 as we head to the 8th inning. Changes for the California Angels. Spike Owen remains in the game at shortstop. And the Angels also have a new pitcher, hard-throwing right-hander Troy Percival. And look at those impressive numbers in 47 relief appearances, 2-0 record and 3 saves. Been an outstanding setup man for California. 65 strikeouts in 55 innings, and we'll keep the gun on Percival. He's a guy who can get it up there in the high 90s.
Well, he's pulling his Grabowski imitation there. He goes behind the mound, gets himself psyched up, and then comes to the rubber.
Mike McFarland 0 for 2 with a walk. It has to be a little bit scary for the hitters with as hard as Percival throws as he wears glasses off the field. Admits when he's on the field he doesn't see very well.
Well, maybe they would not like to know that.
No, I wouldn't want to know. That pitch was at 96. The ball that was inside. McFarland fouls it back to our right. Chris James scheduled to bat next, but Troy O'Leary has moved into the on-deck circle, one of the league's leading hitters. With the right-hander on the mound, O'Leary, who grew up about 20 minutes from the Big A, is going to hit for James. McFarland takes a blazer up and in. That last pitch was 98 miles per hour.
Getting close to that 100 that I won't believe.
Oh, I bet that's close.
Well, when they get to 100, I want them to check the gun. See, that was 97.
He lost something.
Yeah.
Must have been the changeup.
Yeah.
McFarland might want to start swinging now. The 2-2. Oh.
That's what you call no chance. That fastball, you had no chance of hitting that pitch. Look at the location. It's away, and you're not going to go out there. In the words of Tony Perez, you think out there, but you don't go out there. Yeah, you don't go out there when a guy's throwing 90 miles an hour.
I think he's tiring, Joe. That was 97 miles per hour. He hasn't been able to get it to 98.
He gave you his best shot on the first pitch.
I think McFarland has seen enough of Percival. Here's O'Leary. This is where you really have to thank the manager. You sit on the bench all night, you get a little cold, and now he sends you up there in the 8th to hit against a guy throwing 98 miles an hour. O'Leary is 6th in the league in hitting at 326. His average has come down a little bit lately. 1-1 is the count.
So I feel the same way about O'Leary and some of these young players that I do about Wakefield. You're not going to hit 360 the entire season. You're going to have some down period in your at bats, and then you're going to get hot again and maybe come back. That's what being an everyday player is all about. You're going to have some peaks and valleys during the season. You're going to go into some mini slumps, but you have to fight your way out of them and stay positive. And again, that's sometimes you can overthink all the things that are going on with Wakefield. You can start thinking, well, am I getting my arm up right? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And before you know it, you've talked your way into a slump.
Yeah.
You've talked your way into thinking, well, something's wrong with me.
Percival went to the rare breaking ball, tried the back door, and it just missed.
When a guy throws 97 or, in that area, you have to just give him the breaking ball. You have to hit the fastball.
Back to the fastball, and it sounded low.
You give him you look for fastball, and if there is a breaking ball, you probably see it quick enough. You can maybe foul it off or put it in play, but you have to think fastball all the time.
3-2 to O'Leary, and he fought it off. Percival consistently throwing 97 miles per hour now. He was a catcher, was Troy Percival, in college at UC Riverside here in California. A couple of coaches in the Angels chain, Bob Clear and Frank Rehberger, suggested that he make the change to pitching. I think that was a good idea.
I'm sure that Percival does too. He's in the big leagues.
Yeah. Beautiful pitch. 98 miles per hour, located perfectly by Percival. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 8th.
And this is pretty much no chance on this pitch. Knee high and over the outside corner. And O'Leary just turns and walks away. Look at the rotation. That ball's moving away from him.
But that looked fast even in slow motion.
Yes. You couldn't even see the spin on it. I mean, that tells you it was pretty fast.
And there he is squinting in. Yeah, he can't see. If he could see the catcher's mitt, he might be a lot better off. Though it's hard to imagine he could pitch much better than he has lately. He's now gone 26 innings and has allowed only 1 run over the last 26 innings that he's pitched. Working to Luis Alicea. Took a fastball on the inside corner. The breaking ball, close but called the ball. Alicea 1 for 2, an RBI single, and he scored in the 5th. He walked and was stranded in the 6th. 5-5 the score in the 8th. 1-2. Percival now 1 strike away from striking out the side. Percival averages 10.6 strikeouts per 9 innings. The 1-2. Fouled out of play to the left into the upper deck.
A lot of players have a tendency when a guy throws hard to swing harder. Really the key is to try to get the barrel of the bat out in front. Just use quickness rather than strength. You don't swing harder, you just swing quicker.
Another 1-2. Breaking ball hit on the ground to second. Hudler throws him out. Percival has a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the 8th upcoming from Anaheim. 5-5 the score. With Joe Morgan, Sean McDonough at the Big A in Anaheim, California. Red Sox and Angels in the final game of a 3-game series, tied at 5, heading to the bottom of the 8th. Troy O'Leary stays in the game for Boston. He's playing right field. And a new pitcher after 131 pitches from the starter Tim Wakefield. Eric Gunderson on to make his 7th appearance for the Red Sox, all in relief. He won 2 games on consecutive days shortly after joining the Red Sox. He was claimed on waivers from the Seattle Mariners just a couple of days after the Mariners had claimed him from the New York Mets. He had a busy couple of days. Anderson's been in the San Francisco organization, had an extended stint with Seattle, then to the Mets, back to Seattle, but did not pitch for them. And now Boston. There's Roger Clemens alongside Chris James. Clemens had the eventful night last night as the Red Sox won 6-4. They're trying for a sweep of this series. Gunderson on to face the top of the order and Tony Phillips, who's 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Jim Edmonds, Tim Salmon to follow. There is still action in the Boston bullpen.
It's interesting. Tony Phillips is leading off again. Another good situation for the Angels to have your leadoff hitter leading off in a tie ball game.
Each team with 5 runs on 8 hits. The Angels made 2 errors. Gunderson misses up and away. Tim Wakefield threw 131 pitches over 7 innings. He matched up with Jim Abbott tonight. Wakefield walked 6. That's a season high. Breaking ball miss. 3 balls and a strike.
Sometimes
give up 5 earned runs on 8 hits, including 3 homers.
Sorry about that, Sean. Sometimes you wonder what goes through a pitcher's mind. You have a leadoff hitter who walks a lot, and you throw him a 2-1 breaking ball. When a guy's leading off the game, the inning in a tie ball game, you want to make sure he puts the ball in play. You had a chance to throw him the breaking balls earlier in the count. You missed with him. Now 2-1, you have to make him hit the ball. He missed. Now it's 3-1. Now he has to come back with 2 strikes. He may have only had to throw 1 strike if he'd have thrown a 2-1 fastball. You just do not want to walk anyone in this situation.
3-2 pitch. Foul to the screen. Lee Smith has started warming up in the California bullpen in the event that the Angels take the lead. They'd likely summon their closer. I think the Red Sox will be happy to see him come in with the way Percival was throwing.
Yes. Well, Tony Phillips helped him out right there. That was ball 4. And he swung it at a high fastball and fouled it back.
Down the right field line, slicing foul. These 2 teams could not meet in the first round of the playoffs since the East and West division winners have home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Gunderson lost them. The 3rd time tonight Phillips has walked.
It's just amazing to me when you have a guy who walks a lot, you have to force him to swing the bat. And that means early in the count. You do not wait till you get to 3-2 and try to get him throw strikes. You have to do it early in the count.
Jim Edmonds 1 for 4, a 3rd inning double. He scored in that inning. Phillips with a team high 12 stolen bases. He's been thrown out 6 times and he draws a throw. Edmonds bunts too hard. Back to Gunderson. He goes to Valentin for the out. So they ask Edmonds, one of baseball's best hitters, to sacrifice in a tie game in the 8th. And he bunted it much too hard back in the direction of the pitcher.
Well, he probably hasn't. He has not been asked to bunt too often, and you're right. He bunts it right back to the pitcher. And he throws to second. That's in time. I think
one
he's had
sacrifice
one
bunt
all
this
year.
year. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. You have Phillips who can steal the base. I mean, if you want to get him the second, why ask a great hitter like Edmonds to give up an out? Why not take the chance with Phillips running? Kevin Kennedy has made a pitching change. And we'll be back in just a moment. Five the score in the bottom of the 8th. California Angels with a runner at first and one out as they try to take the lead for the first time tonight. And the third pitcher of the night for the Boston Red Sox is veteran right-hander Mike Maddox, making his 28th appearance of the year. He spent most of the year in the bullpen. He's been a very valuable member of Kevin Kennedy's pitching staff. The Red Sox first signed him after he'd been let go by Pittsburgh. He was the long reliever, usually pitched when the game was one-sided one way or the other, but pitched so well that he worked his way into more important situations. And this is an important situation in a tie game. And one of the league's best hitters at the plate, Tim Salmon, who has scored twice. He's got a home run, a solo homer in the 5th off Wakefield. Walked and been hit by a pitch, and back in the 1st he struck out. Missed outside with his first pitch. We mentioned Greg Maddox earlier, and Mike is Greg's older brother.
Those numbers for Tim Salmon.
The 1-0. Fouled out of play to the right. Chili Davis is on deck. Red Sox do not have Stan Belinda available tonight. Ordinarily he'd be the man who might be in this situation, but Belinda's had a bit of a tired arm lately. He asked for last night off, but Kennedy had to use him to get one batter out. And Kennedy said before the game tonight he definitely would not use Belinda tonight.
Well, he may change his mind. Use him for one hitter tonight and give him tomorrow night off.
Rocket through the middle. Edmonds to second. And now the go-ahead run is in scoring position with one out in the 8th inning. Salmon's been on base 4 times tonight.
You can look back and say, well, execution again has been the downfall in this ball game on certain occasions. If Edmonds would have been able to bunt him over, that might have been the go-ahead run.
Now Chili Davis. He's been on base 3 times. A walk, an RBI single, and a solo homer. He and Salmon at back-to-back home runs opening the 5th. And tied the game at 5, and it's been 5-5 ever since. Maddox missed inside and low.
.306 with runners in scoring position. That's actually a drop-off from his average. His batting average at the beginning of tonight was .337.
Second in the league in hitting behind Edgar Martinez of Seattle. He broke his bat, hit it down to first. Vaughn couldn't get it out of his glove, and now he beats Davis to the bag at first. Well, the Red Sox failed to turn a double play last inning. It did not hurt them, but it nearly did. That would have been a difficult double play to turn, but certainly they had a chance if Vaughn could have gotten the ball out of his glove.
Here comes Kennedy again. Well, this ball, good pitch by Maddox. He breaks the bat of Chili Davis. And it may not have been a bad deal that he couldn't get the glove out. He did not have a clear lane to throw to second base. Actually, Valentin was right in line with the base runner.
Mike Stanton will come in for Boston, be the third pitcher of the inning. The left-hander coming in to face J.T. Snow. Mike Maddox will sit and watch now as Mike Stanton takes the mound for Boston, trying to keep it a 5-5 game in the 8th inning. And here it's 2 men in scoring position with 2 outs. Stanton, one of 25 different pitchers who have pitched this year for Boston. That is a club record. They've also used a team record 49 players this year. Stan Duquette, the general manager, continues to find people to improve his team. His philosophy is run as many people through the organization as you need to, and even if somebody improves your team by a fraction, you're still improving your team. Stanton acquired just before the trading deadline from Atlanta for a player to be named later. He at one time was the closer for Atlanta, but it seemed that Bobby Cox had lost confidence in him in recent years. With the development of Mark Wohlers, Stanton had become somewhat of a forgotten man. That's why they got the left-hander in the game. Snow has not been as good a right-handed hitter this year. He's batting for the first time from the right tonight. He went 1 for 4 from the left against Wakefield, including a 2-run homer in the third. Two balls, no strikes. Stanton is prone to wildness.
Stanton has a good fastball and a hard breaking ball, but he, like you said, his fastball is his best pitch.
And Snow swung at the 2-0 and fouled it away. The 2-1 fouled straight back, and now Stanton is even. Edmonds at third and Salmon at second, and 2 down in the 8th. Angels have had a lot of chances. They've left at least one man on in every inning. The 2-2. He struck him out. Foul tipped into the mid of McFarland. Stanton comes on to end the inning. The Angels have now left 12 men on base. On to the 9th, still tied at 5. 9th inning of a 5-5 game. We've seen both ends of the pitching spectrum tonight with regard to velocity. Tim Wakefield, the Boston starter. Troy Percival, Wakefield's knuckleball gets up there about 65. Percival's been up as high as 98 on the gun tonight. Let's give you the side-by-side comparison.
And they'll release the ball at the same time, and we'll see that ball hits the glove right there, and it's about halfway there, so a little more than halfway probably. But that's what you have to deal with as a hitter. One guy throws 60, the other throws 90, but you have to be able to hit both of those pitches.
Percival came on last inning, worked a 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts. He's facing the top of the order in the 9th. Willie McGee is 0 for 4, struck out twice. John Valentin and Mo Vaughn scheduled to follow. California with 5 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors. Boston 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Fastball missed high. 2-0 on McGee. And 1 strike. Joined us late, Lee Tinsley of the Boston Red Sox suffered a strained rib cage muscle during batting practice. He looked like he was in considerable pain. His status is day to day. It's conceivable with the way he looked and knowing a little bit about those injuries, as the Red Sox do firsthand. They've had others this year affected by it. He might be out a while. Red Sox also got some bad news on the injury front last night. Aaron Seeley, who's missed most of the year with shoulder trouble, pitching Pawtucket for their AAA team, making a rehab start. They thought he was close to coming back. Thought was he joined them in early September. Well, he had to shut it down last night after a couple of innings. Kevin Kennedy said before the game tonight it's possible now that they'll just tell him to shut it down for the rest of the year. McGee missed the high hard one. Percival's retired all 4 men he has faced, 3 of them via the strikeout. We hope you'll stay tuned for Sports Center coming up immediately following the game with Craig Kilborn and Bill Pito. They'll bring you up to date with what's going on in the only close race in the 6 divisions of Major League Baseball, the National League West. More fallout at Alabama today with regard to that probation situation. And Pat Riley to the Heat with a question mark. If so, what, if anything, will be the compensation? Tim Wakefield sticking around to watch his mates. When you're a knuckleball pitcher, you don't even need a shower. Mike McFarland alongside. Valentin 1 hit tonight in 4 trips, an RBI single. 0-2 as Percival dropped in the breaking ball.
He just wanted to show him some change of speed.
A pop-up. Foul ground off first. J.T. Snow now over to the tarp to make the play. Well, Don Mattingly's had a little bit of an off year with the glove by his standards this year. And I think J.T. Snow will merit serious consideration as the Gold Glove winner at first base in the American League. He's only made 3 errors this year, and we've seen tonight makes a number of outstanding plays. Mo Vaughn with 2 down to the bases empty in the 9th in a 5-5 game. Mo's 1 for 3, an RBI single and a walk. He scored a run. Takes ball 1 just outside.
And we'll see how they pitch him if they try to stay away from him, if they come inside. With a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, you can pitch anywhere you want, in or out.
California outfield is extremely deep, particularly Edmonds in center field. Edmonds might be in San Diego.
Well, the philosophy is if anything stays in the ballpark, you want to be able to catch it with 2 outs and a tie ball game in the 9th inning. You do not want a ball going over your head to put the go-ahead run into scoring position.
Vaughn loops it in a shallow center. And that's a hit. No fear of the ball being hit over Edmonds' head where he was playing, and Vaughn took advantage of it, dumped it into shallow center.
There you get a look at Frank White. He's the first base coach, and I was supposed to say hello to his mom and dad, Daisy and Frank, back in Kansas City. And that gives me an opportunity to do so as they boo Canseco. He comes to the plate. Something positive out of that.
Canseco, the hottest hitter in the American League at the moment. 14-game hitting streak. 2 for 4 tonight, including a first inning 2-run homer off the starter Jim Abbott. 5-5 the score in the 9th. Pop-up. Shallow right center. Salmon is under it. And that ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Anderson, Hudler, and Fabregas due up in a 5-5 game. The score. The Angels with a chance to win it as they come to bat in the bottom of the 9th. Some loyal fans sticking it out. Joe Morgan's on his way to Philadelphia for ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. He'll join John Miller for the telecast at 8 p.m. Sunday night. It's the Dodgers and the Phillies from the vet. Dodgers in the battle for first in the National League West. Game and a half ahead of Colorado. And the Phillies back in the wild card picture. That's Sunday night at 8 here on ESPN.
How about those Padres?
Yeah,
they're hanging too.
Indeed they are. And you mentioned the wild card has proven, at least this year, to be a blessing. I'm one of those people who liked the idea from the beginning anyway.
Well, we agree.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was a good idea.
I think a horrible idea, however, is the plan to play the postseason games simultaneously and televise them on a regional basis.
Right. It's not the wild card. It's the platform in which it's going to be presented, which presents a problem sometimes. The playoff situation. This is the first time I've seen Anderson look out of kilter here. He's losing his balance. I haven't seen him do that. And I've seen him bat against other left-handed pitchers. But Stanton seems to have him a little confused here.
Anderson got on base 3 times tonight with 2 singles and a walk. Stanton came on last inning and struck out Snow with men at second and third to keep it a 5-5 game. Rex Hudler is on deck and George Fabregas is due. He struck him out. Anderson appeared to want no part of batting against Mr. Stanton.
It looks like a completely different hitter there than the one we've seen. Watch his left foot, right foot. He steps away from the plate. Look at that. You can't handle that. He looked like, you're right, he's bailing on Stanton. I don't know if Stanton has pitched him inside in the past or what has happened, but for some reason he was leaving a little soon.
Yes. Rex Hudler 0 for 3 was hit by a knuckleball from Wakefield. Off the end of the bat, foul ball. Stanton is throwing strikes and the count is 0-2 on Hudler. This is a return home for Kevin Kennedy. He's a Los Angeles native. 0-2 right back here. Hello. Did it stay on our porch? Or did it bounce down? It bounced down.
I didn't want any parts of that.
No, nor did I. I had the best chance at it and did what I usually do. I ducked. I did expect the Hall of Famer, however, to come to my rescue. Still 0-2 on Hudler, 34-year-old veteran.
So far in the last couple of innings, though, Kevin Kennedy has had the right matchups that he's wanted against each of the Angels power hitters and the people who are a threat to hit the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, Edmonds, Salmon, Chili Davis, Snow, and Anderson. He's had the proper matchup.
And the breaking ball gets Hudler. So Stanton has come into the ball game and has struck out all 3 batters he has faced.
Because he throws so hard, you have to look for the fastball, and then when he changes speeds on you, a lot of times you will chase the pitch. There's a breaking ball and it's down and out of the strike zone. You could see that Hudler chased it.
Now George Fabregas. 1 for 3. He singled in his last at bat. He's also walked tonight. And all of his at bats tonight against the starter Wakefield. 1-1 now on Fabregas. 2 outs, base is empty. Bottom of the 9th, 5-5 the score.
Tim Wakefield, he says, I didn't have my best stuff, but I kept my team in the ballgame. We're still tied. We still have a chance to win.
Pop-up out of play. We had the shot of Kevin Kennedy a moment ago. I think a month ago Marcel Latchman would have been a near unanimous choice as manager of the year in the American League, but with the Red Sox surge, Kennedy has definitely put himself into that mix, particularly given that this is a team that finished in 4th place, last place, was picked to finish in 4th place in just about every preseason poll this year. Greenwell charging hard in the foul ground. He could not get it, so Fabregas is still alive at 1-2. Neither one of these teams was expected to be a serious contender in its division. And they're both in first place by a mile, particularly the Red Sox, 14 games up.
And with the teams that are chasing them faltering rapidly.
Two just outside, 2-2. Should Fabregas reach, Spike Owen would bat next. It's in the dirt, and now it's 3-2. Stanton had spent his entire career in the Atlanta organization prior to the trade that brought him to Boston. Payoff pitch. Hit on the ground to second. Alicea throws him out, and we go to extra innings. Boston and California tied at 5. Extra innings here in Anaheim, California. The Red Sox and Angels tied at 5, each with 9 hits. California's made 2 errors. The Red Sox played errorless ball through the first 9. Lee Smith in the pitch, and he's just to the mound. He's notorious for taking a slow stroll in from the bullpen, and tonight was no different. 30 saves, second in the American League behind Jose Mesa's 38. Smith, formerly the closer for the team he's now facing, the Boston Red Sox.
And it's interesting, every year they think Lee Smith is finished, and he comes back and helps someone else.
And certainly the Orioles probably regret, really, certainly and probably in the same sentence. I think certainly was the right word, regret letting him depart.
What has happened is Lee Smith has he is more of a pitcher now than earlier in his career. When he had a great fastball, he was more of a thrower. But Lee Smith mixes his speeds up well. He moves the ball in and out, up and down. He just pitches well now.
And the bullpen has done an excellent job tonight for California. Jim Abbott started, went 5 1/3, and gave up all 5 Boston runs. And Mike James pitched an inning and 2/3 of a 1-hit scoreless relief. Troy Percival pitched 2 scoreless innings, allowing just 1 hit. He struck out 3. So now it's Smith, greeted by Tim Naring, who's 1 for 4, single to center in the 4th. California is 6-2 this year in extra innings, and Boston is 6-3. Naring, Greenwell, and McFarland due to face Smith. Smith's first pitch missed outside.
Smith throws a fastball and he throws a slider. Those are his 2 basic pitches. He will turn the fastball over on occasion.
One on Naring.
Lee doesn't do anything in a hurry, does he?
No. He's pitched well lately. Is not allowed a run in his last 10 outings. Period covering 9 2/3 innings. And generally does not pitch inside.
You're right. He's only hit 1 batter
since 1988.
Yes.
I think a guy who throws as hard as he does would want to pitch in there every now and then, if only to send a message. He's not the kind of guy a hitter should be able to get comfortable against, throwing as hard as he does, and yet you can dig in there really knowing that he's not going to hit you.
When Lee Smith was in the National League and threw real hard, it was the same way. He just didn't pitch inside. And I knew a few hitters that were on my team. If he'd ever pitched inside, they would never touch him again. But that was not his style.
Last pitch from Smith, 92 miles per hour. 2-2 on Naring. Just low. Smith hit Ivan Rodriguez of Texas with a pitch on August 5th. It was the first man he had hit since July of 1988.
That's a long time between hitting batters.
Yes, it is. 464 and 2/3 innings, to be precise. Naring sends it up the middle, and the Red Sox have the lead man on in the 10th.
The pitch before was a 2-2 fastball sinking down, and Naring took it. This is a fastball up, and Naring lines it right back through the middle for a base hit. Up and out over the plate, I should have said.
Naring, as we noted earlier, does not run well. Kevin Kennedy has the bottom part of his order coming up. Rangers does not appear to expect a bunt here, with Phillips well back of the bag at third. Greenwell 1 for 3, a single and a walk. Sports Center pushed back a little bit tonight due to extra innings here in Anaheim. And as soon as we're finished here, I'll send you to Craig Kilborn and Bill Pito all of the day's sports news and highlights. With 30 saves this year, Smith has now saved 30 or more in each of the last 6 seasons. Strike. And it's 0-1 on Greenwell.
Well, Lee's trying to get a sinker down so he can get the ground ball from Greenwell and hopefully get a double play.
Smith, Major League Baseball's all-time save leader, 464 lifetime. His 0-1 slashed out of play to the left.
Again, Lee Smith will pitch away, but in this case I think he needs to stay away, because if you come inside, you give Greenwell a chance to pull the ball, and with the runner at first base, big hole on the right side, and if it goes through, the runner at first could go all the way around the third. So Lee wants to get a ground ball to shortstop or to second base if he possibly can.
His 0-2 is up and away. Greenwell will be followed by Mike McFarland. Belted toward the right field corner. A fair ball off the wall, played by Salmon and misplayed. Naring waved around. Greenwell on the way to third. Naring is safe. Greenwell's at third. And Boston has a 6-5 lead.
Well, both the pitches that he's given up the base hits on have been up. After making a couple of good pitches down low to Greenwell, he gets his fastball up, right there, up right where Greenwell can hammer it, and he drills it into the corner. The ball bounces away from Salmon here, and you see Naring rounding third. They were going to send him anyway. They actually had a shot at third base at Greenwell, but they chose to go to the plate not in time. pitch was only 82 miles an hour from Smith, and it was up.
Scored a triple and an RBI for Greenwell. Now the infield is in for California with Mike McFarland at the plate.
Lee Smith is 0-4 in the win-loss column.
And perhaps looking at 0-5 unless his mates can score at least once in the bottom of the 10th. He's trying to keep it a one-run game, and we'll have a lot of work to do to get that job done. McFarland at bat, and O'Leary on deck, and McFarland looks at a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And of course the Angels will play the infield in. They cannot afford to concede that run to the Red Sox.
Smith, 37 years old, from Castor, Louisiana. Is 1-1. Chopped to short with the infield in. Greenwell can't try it. Owen throws McFarland out. McFarland's had a tough night. He hasn't had the ball out of the infield. Now Troy O'Leary. He came up as a pinch hitter in the 8th against Troy Percival and was called out on strikes. Infield still in with 1 out. 6-5 Boston in the 10th. Ball one way inside. There is action in the Boston bullpen we cannot see, but one would suspect it is Rick Aguilera now that the Red Sox have taken the lead. It is Aguilera. Boston is 6 runs on 11 hits, including 2 hits here in the 10th. California 5 runs, 9 hits, and 2 errors. 1-0. Good pitch. Outside part of the plate around the knees. O'Leary, a great story. Released by the Milwaukee Brewers in the spring. Picked up by the Red Sox. Thought he'd be a backup outfielder, but when Mark Whitten didn't work out, O'Leary got the chance to play every day and has been among the league leaders in hitting virtually all year.
Big turnaround to go from being released to one of the league's best hitters.
The 1-2. Fought off a pitch that appeared to be up and out of the strike zone. Hit that up by the old football press box. They won't have a need for that here anymore.
Well, since they don't have a need for those seats in their upper deck out in from the foul lines to the foul lines, tear them down so you can see the hills again.
Yeah, this used to be a very pretty ballpark before they enclosed it in the outfield and put in more seats for the Rams when they moved here. Another 1-2. And a ball high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Luis Alicea is on deck. Smith pitched for Boston for 2.5 years, all of '88 and '89 and half of 1990, before he was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals in exchange for Tom Bernansky. At 6'6", 269. Deuces a chopper to short. Owen will try the plate, and Greenwell is out with room to spare. Greenwell was off with the contact, and the Angels executed the play with ease.
Well, it's a chopper to the left side, and Spike going, comes, throws on the run. And here's the problem. Greenwell didn't slide, get hurt that way. Get knocked off balance and fall on the shoulder or something. But good play there by Fabregas. He was prepared either way.
Certainly would be a lift to the Angels if they could get out of this inning having allowed just a 1 run, given that Greenwell was at third with nobody out and a run already in. Luis Alicea, 1 for 3, an RBI single, and he scored in the 5th. He walked in the 6th. In the bottom of the 10th, the Angels have Spike Owen scheduled lead off, then Tony Phillips and Jim Edmonds. They're getting around to their big bats. In all likelihood, it'll be against Rick Aguilera. Ball low, 1 ball and 1 strike on Alicea, product of Florida State. Red Sox lead 6-5. They've taken the lead here in the 10th on an RBI triple by Mike Greenwell. Two balls and a strike. To center field and room for Jim Edmonds, and that ends the inning. The Red Sox get 1, and Rick Aguilera will come in to try to protect the lead as we go to the bottom of the 10th. Sports Center coming up next here on ESPN. Craig Kilborn and Bill Pito standing by with the stories of the day, including an update on the race for first place in the National League West between the Dodgers and the Rockies. Kevin Kennedy and the Red Sox looking for their 5th straight win and their 19th in their last 21 ball games. And on to protect the lead is Rick Aguilera with 23 saves overall, 11 of those for the Red Sox. He's appeared in 16 games since joining Boston. He came over from the Twins in a trade that sent top prospect pitcher Frank Rodriguez from Boston to Minnesota. Aguilera will face Spike Owen to begin the 10th, then Tony Phillips and Jim Edmonds. Owen came up as a pinch hitter in the 7th and popped out. Aguilera is trying to save it from Mike Stanton. It would be his first decision as a Boston pitcher in his first American League win. Aguilera throws strike 1. He's been bothered lately by some soreness in his right shoulder. He had to shut it down for 8 days. He has 11 saves and 12 chances since coming to Boston. Spike Owen bounced it right back to the mound. Aguilera throws him out. Stanton pitched an inning in a 3rd, retired all 4 men he faced, 3 of them via the strikeout. And only Dennis Eckersley and Lee Smith, who stands to be the losing pitcher tonight, have more saves in Major League Baseball in the 90s. And Rick Aguilera, all but 7 of Aguilera's career saves have come in the 90s. He has 202 career saves.
Well, he has a good makeup for a closer. I mean, he has a good fastball, and then he gets ahead of you and he throws the splitter. So he's not afraid to use his fastball, which is the key, I think, for a good closer.
Tony Phillips, as you saw, not much luck in his career against Aguilera. He fouls the first pitch away. Tonight, Phillips has walked 3 times and is 0 for 2. Boston leads 6-5 in the 10th. Tim Wakefield not involved in the decision. Aguilera was the winning pitcher for the New York Mets in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, the infamous Game 6 as far as the Red Sox and their fans are concerned. Benefited by the Red Sox blowing the lead. The play that's remembered most, a ground ball through Bill Buckner's legs. But that was one of several things that happened.
That's what's unfortunate about this game sometimes. One play does not win or lose the game like that. There were a lot of other things that happened before that.
Good split finger pitch, and it's 1-2. Aguilera had actually given up a home run that gave the Red Sox the lead. And when he joined the Red Sox earlier this season, he said, "I did everything I could to help the Red Sox win the World Series in 1986. They just couldn't do it." Now he's trying to help them win one while he's in their uniform. And Phillips strikes out. The Angels, highest scoring team in baseball, are struggling with the bats of late. They've had only 2 hits since the 5th inning.
There's the fastball from Aguilera, and he just throws it right by Phillips, and that's the fear of the splitter, because you have to wait a little longer, and if you wait too long, the fastball goes right by you. With Edmonds up here, he's the Angels' last chance, and the Angels have lost, 7 out of 10 to the Red Sox this year. So I think that this could have some bearing on the playoffs if they were to meet in the League Championship Series. The fact that the Red Sox have dominated them, at least that'll give the Red Sox some confidence. I don't think it'll affect the Angels as much, but I think it'll affect the Red Sox more by saying that, hey, we are the dominant team of the two.
Edmonds up there with a count of 1-1.
And make no mistake, this is not over yet.
No, it is not.
Facing a guy that has 29 home runs.
Edmonds 1 for 5 tonight, a 3rd inning double. 2 balls and 1 strike. Should he reach Tim Salmon would bat next. Two and 2. As you can tell, there are a number of transplanted New Englanders who live out in this area, many of them making noise on their feet and cheering in anticipation of a Red Sox win.
This is amazing.
Edmonds hit it on the ground to second, and Boston has won 5 in a row, and 19 of 21. They sweep this 3-game series from the Angels, and the Red Sox now lead by 14.5 in the American League East. 6 runs on 11 hits, no errors for Boston. 5, 9, and 2 for California. Mike Stanton the winner, 1-0. Lee Smith the loser, 0-5, and Aguilera saved it, his 24th. Once again, the final score from Anaheim, California in 10 innings. Boston 6, California 5. Stay tuned for Sports Center coming up next. All the action from around the major leagues. Now for Joe Morgan and our ESPN crew, I'm Sean McDonough saying good night from Anaheim.